Do we want to see how long it'll take you to notice?
I thought he did that, or did you do that to him?
I did that to him.
I like that we can still move him. Anyway, now that the pleasantries are concluded, would somebody like to recap us?
So anyway, we was at the place with the peoples.
Fuck your summary, it's terrible.
It's true, though.
The crew of the Peaceful Intentions, following up on their prior investigation, received clearance from the ISB to interview a captured rebel spy at a maximum security POW camp. After inquiring with this agent and going over the warden's head in order to acquire said rebel agent, the crew of the Peaceful Intentions has learned of a Imperial black site that may or may not be compromised by rebel forces, and hooking up with their contact in the ISB, they have boarded a Star Destroyer exiting hyperspace, orbiting the planet that the black site is on.
Indeed.
Unfortunately, I don't recall any of the names of anything or anyone at the moment. I didn't have the opportunity to review the episode.
That's all right. The only names you need to know are that the ISB agent you're working with is a guy named Jirlan, and the rebel prisoner, who is also on board of the Harrower with you, currently in the brig, is Kel Zeora.
Did I go to bed early or something?
Maybe.
No.
Anyway, you've just exited hyperspace, or above this sort of frozen planet that you've come to.
Does this planet have a name?
Not that you know.
Under what's your total XP?
440.
Huh.
Yeah, this planet's not on any charts that any of you would have had access to. You have no idea what it's called.
Alright, I'm guessing I'm up on like the command deck with Jirlan.
You can be if you want to.
Sure.
Is anybody else there?
I don't know. Will they let me fly the Star Destroyer?
They will not let you fly the Star Destroyer.
Then no.
I mean, I don't see a reason why I wouldn't be with our captain.
All right. Well, those of you who are on the bridge.
I am the captain's right hand. I will be the captain's side, or not the regular captain, but Devati.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you're on the bridge of an Imperial Star Destroyer. It's got that it's like a runway, and you've got the people working in like pits below you. You can see out the front. And shortly after you come out of hyperspace and see this brand new planet that none of you have seen before, you begin receiving a communication coming from the planet, or rather, the Star Destroyer does. Anyway, the communication requests the Imperial Star Destroyer to identify itself and state its business.
Now, is this Jirlan's Star Destroyer, or did he just kind of hitch a ride with some Navy guy?
No, he's in command of the vessel at this point.
Okay.
Anyway, he would oh yeah, right. I gave him like a southern accent, kind of. Anyway, he would identify himself based on his rank and state that you've come to the planet for a inspection with no purpose listed beyond that. And anyway, they would discuss logistics for a while, and he would eventually receive clearance to okay, he would receive clearance to dock with the well, not dock. You can't dock because it's a huge ass ship. But he would receive clearance to go down to the installation that is sending you this message.
Enter orbit.
Well, you're already in orbit.
Well, it'd probably be a ultra high and then a high orbit.
Yeah. Yeah, but the party sending this message appears to be some kind of ground-based facility, and he's just gotten clearance to like send a shuttle down.
Nice.
Anyway, I'll be getting my landing party together. We'll be bringing the prisoner down with us as well. Just let me know when you're ready to depart, and we'll meet in the hangar.
Will do. And I, will just use the comms to get everyone together, and we go to the hangar.
Mm-hmm. In the hangar, there is one of those sleek-looking Lambda shuttles ready to depart. There's a small contingent of stormtroopers along with what looks like a pilot. They've got one of those. Actually, no, it would just be somebody in like a regular Imperial Navy uniform. They wouldn't have the flight suit for one of these.
I mean, is there enough room in the shuttle for everyone?
Yeah, this is here. Let's see. It's not as big as a Sentinel. It can't take like a I don't know what the right word would be, but it can't take like a big squad of soldiers. But it would have enough room for you and the. So he's got a contingent of like 10 stormtroopers with him.
So basically
And a
enough for
pilot.
like a small contingent of passengers and then their honor guard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because if there's, if it looks like it's going to be tight, I do offer that we can always fly down our group in the Peaceful Intentions separately.
Well, I mean, we always have more shuttles, and we'll be getting an escort anyway. The problem is I don't want them seeing a civilian craft coming down and getting the wrong idea.
Fair enough.
But yeah, you think there is going to be room on this thing for everybody planning to board it?
Without people having to like sit in each other's laps.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Anyway, the only party noticeably not absent is Kel Zaora, and you hear Jirlan remarking to himself, "Where the hell is that first officer? He was supposed to be here with the prisoner 10 minutes ago."
Do we have access to the ship intercom?
I would say yes.
I call up to the command deck and let them know to shoot down anything that leaves the ship. I'm doing this in front of Jirlan. I'm like, yeah, if anything leaves the ship without Jirlan or myself authorizing it, shoot it the fuck down immediately.
Yeah, he echoes your order to the command deck to make sure that they actually follow that.
And then Does a Starshire have internal life sensors?
For on board, I'm gonna say no.
Okay. So I can't just ask the bridge, where is so-and-so?
Yeah, it's not that sophisticated.
Sounds like we're going for a hunt.
Possibly. I turned to Jirlan. Perhaps you should try just calling him. Maybe, a door got stuck or something.
Oh, believe me, that was the first thing I tried. I can't get a hold of him. I think we might have to go down to the brig.
Branks is already going to be moving.
Yeah. Weapons out, we're moving.
Yeah, you can do a dramatic hallway walk with Jirlan and these 10 stormtroopers behind you. As you'd have to take an elevator to get there, but yeah, you can get down to the detention block where the...
As we're leaving the hangar, I do get on the intercom and call for a security lockdown of the ship.
All right. Yeah, I'll say you could have arranged that they'll take that from you, even though you're technically not like a superior officer or anything. But
I'm not in their direct chain of command, but I'm an adjunct of the Jirlan type guy. And so as long as he acquiesces to my suggestion of starting a security lockdown.
Yeah, you would have been on the ship for a few days, so by now you would get the idea that, like, when you give orders to the crew here, the general response is like, who is this guy? It's like, I don't know, but he's close with Jirlan, so maybe we should do what he says. But yeah, in response to that, you can hear like a faint alarm, some doors close. It's not like a super loud alarm if the ship was like being boarded or breaking up or something.
Right, but guards will be posted, doors will be closed, that type of thing.
Yeah, the ship has gone onto alert.
Armories will be locked.
Oh yeah. Anyway, you arrive at the detention block. The entry to the detention block from the elevator goes through a sally port for security purposes. In the sally port, you can see several humans dressed in Imperial officers' uniforms lying on the ground.
Well, that's not good. Are any of them the first officer?
Yeah, looking closely at them, one of them is the first officer.
I had some cutting out issue there. What's the first officer?
The first officer, along with several other officers who you... we'll say you don't know any of them, but yeah, the first officer and several other people in those gray officers' uniforms are all lying down on the floor in this sally port leading into the brig.
Tenor, can you check them? Tenorock?
Say again?
Can you check them? Are they alive? And if they're dead, how long have they been dead?
I'm gonna run a quick medicine check or medical check on them. Run it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you wouldn't have to roll to take somebody's pulse, and just from doing that, you can immediately tell that all but one of these guys are still alive. They were just unconscious. However, the last one has no pulse. We'll say that there's
one dead.
There's 4. 3 of them are still alive but unconscious, and one of them is dead, apparently.
What did the one die of?
That you would have to roll for. Give me a difficulty 5 medicine check. Actually, before you finish doing that, Tenorock, do you have a medical scanner?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. That will add a blue die to this.
So a second blue die plus my medical pack?
What's the first blue die from?
My medical pack?
That is only for healing.
Scanner?
The medical scanner would add a blue die to this for determining cause of death, but your med pack will not help in this situation.
Okay. I think this is right. And you said 5 purple?
5 purple. Yeah, so you're not able to determine an actual cause of death, but you're beyond confident that it was like something internal. It's like this guy has absolutely no visible wounds or anything like that on him.
Does this look like someone got hit with stun weapons? Like would a stun setting on a blaster do this?
You mean kill someone in this way?
Well, if you blast 5 people and one of them has like, a fucking aneurysm or something.
I mean, they're generally designed to not be lethal. But as for the aneurysm thing, you think that something purely internal like that could kill somebody in this way, yes.
Right, and the unconscious people look like they just got hit with stun weapons. Like, there's no marks. It doesn't look like they were asphyxiated or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't detect any signs of a struggle.
Okay. Wait, there's no signs of a struggle?
Yeah, I mean, aside from, like, falling to the floor, some of them might have bruises from that, but...
So they got hit fast?
Or by somebody they trusted. I asked Jirlan if there's anybody in this group that's missing, besides the prisoner.
Well, as far as missing, those would be his, shit, I gotta come up with the positions here. Those would be a couple of his adjuncts, but, I mean, he was the one I sent to retrieve the prisoner. He would have had, he should have had stormtroopers with him. I don't know where they went.
We're only in, like, the man trap to get into the prison part, right?
Correct. And because of the lockdown, you actually can't proceed any further without overriding the door. Although that would be trivial for either of you to do.
Right. I think we should, at this point, check the rest of the detention block.
Wait.
What?
Hold on a second. These guys suffered wounds that rendered them unconscious, but there's no sign of like an actual struggle.
Correct.
Do they look like they've been kind of like, say, thrown with force?
No,
Against
I mean,
the wall?
there might be some bruising on them, but you would only expect that to be from just like dropping to the floor while standing. There's no sign of like a significant impact or anything like that.
Okay. I want to get clarification on that for a second, because for a moment there I got a little concerned that a person could use the force. I thought for a second we had a space wizard on our hands.
What
I
is...
don't know what...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know what your character knows about the Force. But anyway,
Look, man,
continue.
fucking Jedi and them space wizard shit.
Are any of these downed officers armed still?
Yes, all of them are still armed. They would all have their service blasters on them.
Does the Star Destroyer have like an internal Facebook of personnel? Can we verify these people's identities?
Oh yeah, that would be trivial to do. I mean, the other ones besides the first officer, Jirlan, probably wouldn't know by sight, but they all have their we'll say that like those little badge things that they wear are like RFID tagged or something.
Right, but if you were to take someone's uniform, you would have that. I want to verify it using something like biometrics. If they have match up, like pull up an ID picture from the ship's database of what this person should look like. Do these guys look like that?
Oh yes, that you could do. I mean, just like scanning
He's
the
looking
little,
for an imposter.
So yeah, I'm looking for an imposter. Here's what I'm trying to prevent. If I was the prisoner and I was in the middle of escape and the alarms go off and all of a sudden the man trap starts cycling on its own, faking that I'm part of this cadre that got stunned.
But we know what the prisoner looks like. You sat down and interviewed them.
Yeah, but what if they can change their face?
It's true. We do have changelings in Star Wars.
Yeah, I should point out all of these prisoners are men. None of them look anything like the. Excuse me, all of these officers are men. None of them look anything like the prisoner.
I'm not going with that assumption.
You want me to make a full sweep?
No, I basically just want to pull up on the ship's database the ID picture for the people's whose uniforms this is and see if they match to verify their identities.
That you can do, and indeed, each of the faces that the little badge would pull up in the system matches the person it corresponds to.
Okay. So I don't think they're going to get up right behind us and shoot us in the back and then leave us in the detention block.
Yeah, none of these people appear to be any different from who their badges would suggest they are.
Okay. Well, since there's also, a cadre of stormtroopers that should be here that aren't, maybe they got locked inside the detention block. And perhaps we should open it and see what the inside of it looks like.
Branks is gonna flank the door.
Remember, you have to be unprepared for combat.
Oh, right.
Yeah, try not to expect too much.
I'm fully expecting combat.
Branks buries his head in the sand.
Well, what are you doing?
I cycle the man trap.
Yes.
Reading off of the computer for who's inside the.
Do you let him do that before you cycle the man trap?
Yeah, I figure that's how we did the identity verification.
Well, no, you would have been doing that just based on the badges. It sounds like what he's talking about is trying to determine who's on the other side of the door.
Oh, did I misunderstand?
Well, yeah. Do they have a security station?
Well, yeah. If Tenor can see what's on the other side of the door with a heartbeat sensor or something, yeah, absolutely do that before we cycle the man trap.
Well, given that this is the Sally port for a detention block, there would be an intercom that you could use to talk to people on the other side.
I don't want to
You
talk to
also know
anybody.
that they can see you, but you cannot see them.
Wouldn't they also have a security station that we
Yes.
can use?
That would be on the other side. This is just like the man trap for the elevator.
Okay.
You step out of the elevator, and then you're in this adjoining room before you get into the security station outside the detention block.
We're in the hallway before the hallway.
Yes.
Okay. In that case, let's just crack it open.
All right, is that what you're doing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. One of you either. I'll say you would have to get Jirlan to provide access to do this, but he would cycle the door. You hear the door to the elevator close heavily behind you, as this very big and heavy shielded doorway opens vertically in front of you. On the other side, you see 20 stormtroopers, all leveling their weapons at you, who then immediately lower them. And you hear one of them say through their helmet voice comm, "Sir, what's going on?" Aiden, you're hot mic.
Aiden, your hot mic.
We can hear your car.
I just reply, situation report.
Situation report, sir. The the lockdown has been triggered.
Do they not see the down officers in the man trap?
Oh yeah, they see them.
All of you, helmets off now.
Yep, they begin taking their helmets off. They all of them, or actually no, we'll say almost all of them are humans. There's a couple like near humans in there. There's like a Pantoran who's a stormtrooper. But yeah, almost all of them are humans.
Good. But none of them are Kel Zariah.
Yeah, none of them are Kel Zayora. You would recognize her by now.
Okay. And I say, well, your officers seem to have been shot. What happened to them?
None of them have been shot. There are no visible blaster marks on any of them.
Stunned.
Ah, yes. We're not sure.
What happened? Like, walk me through the timeline here.
The timeline of what? The lockdown was triggered and then you arrived here. We're still not sure what's going on.
Did you not arrive with these officers?
No, they met us here to escort the prisoner to the hangar. Or they were supposed to.
Where is the prisoner now?
In her cell.
Let's verify that.
Yep, they can pull up a camera of the cell where Kel Zayora is being held.
No.
It shows her still in there.
That's nice. Open the door. Show us the prisoner.
Yep, so you remember episode 4. It's got like the long hallway and then you step down. Yeah, so they would lead you down that hallway into one of those cells that you step down into. They open the door, it makes the Star Wars door noise, and Kel Zayora is in there.
Okay. Is she awake? Or is she unconscious?
No, she's patiently waiting. You think she was probably... well, actually, yeah, she would say, well, are you here to take me down?
Vigilance.
Yeah, let's see, we'll make this...
Something is not adding up here. Something is wrong.
Difficulty 3 vigilance breaks.
Alright, 1 second. I have to open up my character sheet. I opened up the cheat sheet and everything else. I just didn't actually open up my character sheet. Alright, sorry, you said difficulty what?
Difficulty 3, however... We'll make that 2 purple and 1 red.
And then don't forget my 2 boots.
I would use a light side point over.
Yeah, can someone flip that for me?
Sure.
Something is not right. Something is off about this whole situation.
You said purple red, Pete?
Purple, purple, red. Yeah, you can tell that Kel Zayora is somewhat confused, but based on the way she's like sitting there looking directly at the door, you think she was probably told in advance that somebody would be coming to get her. Aside from that, though, you don't think she's not visibly hiding anything as far as you can tell.
Okay.
Not visually hiding anything.
Yeah, I mean, based on your ability to draw conclusions from like people's mannerisms, the way they talk, body language, etc., nothing seems suspect here. or more suspect than you would expect from a rebel prisoner, I guess.
It looks like that our trip to the surface might be delayed some. In the meanwhile, I think we should change which cell you're in. I turn to Stormtrooper, if you would please put manacles on her. Like handcuffs or whatever they use.
Yeah, they do that. They've got the binders, the same ones that you guys would have.
Okay. There's no problem with them doing that? Like, it doesn't turn out she's a hologram or something weird?
Nope, they have no trouble doing that.
Okay.
However, as they're doing that over the intercom, this would be coming from the bridge, and they would inform you that several of the Harrower's escape pods have just been jettisoned, showing life signs on board.
I ask why they haven't been destroyed yet. I thought the orders were pretty clear.
And yeah, at that point they would tell you that they are firing upon them, and they would call out several targets as they're destroyed. They destroy first like 3 of them, 5, 7, but then they never destroy the last 2. Like you're getting the play-by-play like as this happens.
I forgot how incompetent these guys are at shooting escape pods.
Hold your fire. There's no life signs on board. Except that's the opposite of what they're doing.
Blow that one up specifically.
There are life signs on board, all of them, is what they would tell you. And they've destroyed 8 out of 10. The last 2 have escaped into the planet's atmosphere and are out of range.
Question in general about Imperial life pods. Do they have any type of ability to affect their landing zone once they're launched?
They have a limited degree of influence, but they're not like... Obviously, you couldn't take off in one, but you also... it's less that you can fly them and more that you can aim them. I'll say that.
What I'm getting at is, if we know where they're going to land, can we just nuke them from orbit as they're landing?
I mean, I suppose. I mean,
He's asking if their
possible.
trajectory is relatively predictable.
The trajectory would be predictable, yes. I mean, you can still track where they're going using conventional methods. They're not like cloaked or anything.
What kind of gun is on this thing? It's a turbo laser, right?
They've got quite a bit, and they extend to much further ranges than your own ships would, but they're mainly due to the size difference. They're not able to hit something that small, especially that close to the ship. And it's only as they get further away that they would sort of come into the weapon arcs on this thing, but evidently 2 of them made it out unscathed.
Yeah, and what the body's suggesting is wherever they land, we create a series of craters the size of a small state in that area.
Well, I was asking if that was possible in the Star Wars universe.
It is possible. Imperial, oh my god. Orbital bombardment is a thing.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of, a nuclear-tipped cruise missile. We just send it in right on the tail of the escape pod. So as soon as the escape pods land, kaboom.
No, you wouldn't do that. You would just shoot the turbo lasers at it.
Yeah, and Star Wars has always been kind of swingy about how powerful a turbo laser is. You have some instances where it's just like a World War II battleship's main guns, but with lasers, and others where, you can glass half a continent with a single salvo.
Yeah, they're not quite that powerful, but you can do some serious damage, especially with sustained fire.
Yeah. Happy middle ground, because
Yeah,
Star Wars doesn't know what consistency is.
If you have an ISD come into low orbit and just unload with its broadsides, you can achieve a pretty scorched earth with that.
Well, then I would agree with the captain on the recommendation to scorch said earth.
How close are
Sports.
they coming down to the black site, to the facility on the planet?
You would have been able to identify the location. They're not going anywhere near it.
Well,
You think they're just sort of making a beeline for the surface?
if they get to the surface with this much of a head start, they're going to be very hard to find.
Wait, what kind of planet is this?
Hoth.
Yeah, it's Hoth, but with oceans.
Hoth, but with oceans.
Yeah, mostly liquid oceans. It turns to ice around the poles.
Here's a question then. The areas they're heading to, how close are they? Well, yeah, we can't answer this. How close are they to the black site? Like, do they have an ocean between where they'll be landing and the site? Or are
No,
they just
they are
trying to
on
be
the
somewhere?
They are on the same landmass. There's one fairly big one that both the black site and where these two escape pods are headed is going.
How many planetary rotation fragments is it?
You could get there within an hour, which would be like 90 degrees around the planet.
For us to fly the ship there?
Well, I'm saying if you were in the Peaceful Intentions, if you were starting from the black site and going to where it looks like these escape pods are going to land, you think it would take you no more than an hour.
Oh, okay. On the
How long will it take the life pods to get down
Yeah.
there? Because they're unpowered, right? They don't have an engine.
Yeah, they're just falling. They still have a while before they'll hit the surface.
So would we be able to catch up to them in a shuttle or the Peaceful Intentions?
No, not really. They're going about as fast as you would be able to go.
Yeah, they're terminal velocity.
They're propelled. I think I just said that they're just falling. That's not actually true. They are actually propelled.
Okay.
Are they falling into like cover, or is it like grass?
They're falling into the
Will
planet.
they be able to hide easily?
Well, there is an atmosphere. You've already lost visual range by now.
Yeah, he's asking what the
Like-
local fauna is like.
Oh, yeah, they would be landing in a they're not landing in the mountains, but they're landing sort of near the edge of them, where the mountains turn to like flat tundra.
So if they take an hour to fly, how long could I figure it'd take on foot to travel from said landing point to the facility?
On foot,
Yeah.
depending on the terrain, anywhere from like several days to. Or actually, no, I said a quarter around the planet, so like a long time, like months potentially, on foot.
Okay, so it doesn't look like their main goal was to get to the facility. I think they were just looking to escape, so I agree with just orbital bombardment. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything particularly important there.
Hold on. A better question is, why are they suddenly firing off a boatload of escape pods to random sections on the planet?
Well,
guessing we
because
had
I
brought
triggered the
something
internal
towards the world.
alarm. And they probably aborted their mission to rescue the prisoner when we triggered the alarm.
I'm
When
guessing we brought some Confederates along for the ride.
Yeah, essentially, in a starship this big, you can't physically clear everyone. After all, is this an actual ISD ship or is this a Navy ship that got repurposed?
No, this is an actual Imperial II Star Destroyer.
Right, so it's generally being run by the Navy with just the command having been handed over to the ISD guy.
Yes, that is pretty much.
What I mean,
what
though,
it
is the ISD, I presume, being an intelligence service, does a much thorough background check to the people working for them, even at a low level, than the Navy does. That's an assumption I'm making. And
That is an
therefore,
assumption you can make.
if this is a primarily naval vessel that was just command has been turned over to Girlan
Yep.
temporarily, then it is conceivable that rebel agents had infiltrated the ship when, as part of its Navy crew complement. And those people received some type of order or on their own initiative were trying to free the rebel prisoner we had when we got to a planet. They may not even have known what planet we were at. They were simply going to try to get her to the planet side and hope that they could then get a rescue boat out here to extract them. And when we triggered all the internal alarms and lockdowns and stuff, they panicked, aborted their mission because they revealed themselves having stunned the officers, and went to the escape pods to get the fuck out.
Yeah, as you're discussing this, you would hear another message come in over the over the ship's comms. This one is coming from an officer reporting from the escape pod bay where the escape pods were launched from. They announced that the bay is clear, but that there's been a struggle of some kind.
Yeah, rebels tried to overpower to get to the escape pods from whoever was guarding them.
Do searchers have security cameras?
Yeah,
So they can play back the security cameras and see just who is doing all this,
conceivably.
including who attacked the people in the man trap.
Conceivably.
Right. So, yeah, I would turn to John. I'm like, well, looks like you had a bit of a mutiny. I would recommend we just orbitally bombard the life pod landing zone. Make sure that none of them got off alive.
Unfortunately, I can't do that. This is an Imperial-controlled planet. I can't... Even in my position, I can't give an order like that without very, very good cause.
Rebel agents are about to land on a top-secret black site. That's not good enough cause?
Unfortunately, no. You have to remember, Hunter, we can't just declare exterminatus in Star Wars.
It's not exterminatus. It's a couple of, tactical nuclear warheads.
Yeah, well, the problem is this planet... What he would try to express to you, which I'm not going to bother trying to RP, is that this planet is, controlled by the Empire in a, secret installation capacity. He can't order an attack like that against this planet. It would, it would put all of you in a very dangerous position.
That would be like saying, yes, fire the cruise missiles near, I don't know, Mount
Mariners
Cheyenne.
Trench?
Just fucking fire 5 cruise missiles at the rock face near Cheyenne Mountain. I'm certain that will not be a problem.
Yeah, this is like if somehow a North Korean pilot went down near Area 51, and then you were trying to have it nuked.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
No,
Area
you
51
don't.
can take it.
Maybe you don't, but that's why you're not in the Empire's ISB.
Looks like we're going on a little hunting trip.
Yeah, looks like we're going on a hunting trip. We need to track down the survivors of these life pods. What's the fastest way we can get onto the planet? At
Well,
that
there's
location.
There's still your shuttle.
The civilian ship that will likely concern the blacks. Wait, why
No,
not just
I was-
deploy some probe droids?
They do have some of those.
Yeah, we could try deploying Viper probe droids to the area. Have them act as hunters.
I mean, that works too.
Yeah, if they don't want to do an order of bombardment, just send the killbots.
Yeah, are you suggesting this?
Yes. I do suggest deploying the Viper probe droids as a way of purging the.
Yeah, the Jirwan would give an order to the bridge to deploy the Viper droids to go and what's the word?
Pacify?
Exterminate.
No, I'm trying to think of the verbal form of reconnaissance, but it's not coming to me.
Reconnoiter?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, he would order them to send the Viper probe droids down to the escape pods haven't actually landed yet, but to be ready to reconnoiter the landing sites. And with that out of the way, if you'll excuse me, my presence is being requested at the life pod bay.
Of course. I think at this point we should split up. We should leave the prisoner here, obviously. Can I get clearance to take the Peaceful Intentions down to that landing site to mop up?
I can't allow you to take a civilian vessel, it would send the wrong impression.
Can we borrow one of your Lambda shuttles then?
Of course.
Okay, let's go.
How hard would it be to pull the sensor upgrade out?
Which is like real quick. It would be not easy.
Don't risk it, you might break it.
Yeah, good point. It'd be really handy.
All right, let's see. Did I?
Well, just real quick, I just want to verify something. Star Wars doesn't rely on radar cross-section for identification of ships.
Was it used
They
drive
rely on
emission
a
signature?
broadcast. Drive signature and broadcast, correct?
I believe so. What do you
Sounds
get?
about right.
Well, could we mask our signature and just take the peaceful intentions anyway?
Well, it's not that simple. If you got anywhere near the
We are here on official business. We don't want to look like we're hiding because then they'll assume
Yes.
we're with the rebels to rescue these guys and they'll shoot us down.
Yeah, so the
black
fact, that
site,
they
gotcha.
can, the fact that they can communicate means that they're already close enough to, like, view your identification information and your They can't actually like see your transponder code, but they can see like the identification broadcasted by your transponder code. So if you leave the Harrower in a non-imperial vessel, they'll be able to tell.
Okay. Just asking to ask.
Oh, can I request access to the Viper probe droid intel?
What exactly do you want?
Basically, I want to kind of keep contact with whoever on the bridge of the Harrower, or perhaps other section of it, that happens to be in charge of the Viper probe droids, basically coordinating what I'm doing with the probes.
Yeah, well, so they have a signals team monitoring that. The probes themselves are still in transit.
Right.
But you would be able to stay in contact with them and like request information from the probes or tell them to send the probe somewhere. If that's what you're asking.
Precisely.
All right, so we go to the Lambda shuttle, get all of our crew up.
Yep.
Make sure we get clearance so we don't get shot down by the Sea Whiz, and then we go off.
Yeah, I mean from the communications you overheard with that black site, they are still expecting a ship to come down at some point.
Well, if you remember, I gave that order with Girlan's approval to shoot anything that leaves the Harrower.
Oh yes, that's important.
I get clearance. Like I make sure that both myself and Girlan are clearing this ship specifically so that the Imperial gunners don't decide, oh look, there was another one, blah 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 blah.
Because that's when they're going to manage to get a no survivors.
All right, 1 second, just gotta modify the Sentinel stat block real quick so I can give it to you. And
I do request, as we're loading up the Lambda shuttle, because I assume there's some time when we run there and load up and take off.
yeah.
Information on how many life signs were aboard those life pods that survived.
Yeah, they would tell you that most of them had one, a couple of them had two.
I thought only 2 life pods survived.
Oh, just on the ones that survived, both of them only had one life sign on board.
Okay,
However, all 10, including the ones that were destroyed, had life signs on board.
Right, but the ones that were destroyed are not really a problem anymore.
No.
Right, there's no life signs just floating out in space?
Yeah, not at that point.
Okay.
It's a bit
We're
cold.
not in that episode yet.
Hey, if one of them's a space wizard, they might be able to use the Force to survive out in the
No,
vacuum for a little
we
bit.
don't do that.
No. Shut up, Under.
You're absolutely positive that can't happen.
I mean,
And
they'd get a face full of
Singapore.
turbo laser for their trouble, so...
And then for a moment, one of these rebels begins using the Force, and then splat, we hit them with the hood of our Lambda shuttle.
Yeah, there's like a middle-aged woman that just like flies across the windshield as you're descending towards the planet.
I will get out of the ship and chase them down on my jetpack.
Anyway,
Anyway, I just gotta take a screenshot of this. Oh wait, I forgot to rename it. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Yeah, that should be enough.
I'll be right back.
Oh, that ended up looking really small.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's
those
fine.
are the stats for the Lambda shuttle.
2 months of rations.
Yeah. Now that's 2 months of. So where it says cap 3/20, the first number is is like the expected crew size. So that's 2 months of rations for 3 people.
Right.
And
I mean, that's-
if you were to look, those rations are literally just like a little crate full of ration bars.
Just a box
mean,
of granola bars. Yeah.
They'll keep you alive. It's not much, but you
Have a
won't starve.
Snickers.
It's just a case of Snickers.
I want the one Twix that's in.
Yeah, it's an entire case full of like Nature Valley bars, and there's absolutely no water anywhere on the shuttle.
Oh God, no, no!
So first priority is digging the latrine. Got it.
Mm.
Can we just like fly sideways past one of these oceans? These freshwater oceans?
All right. So let's see here. According to this image, it looks like there's likely some Chex Mix, mint Tic Tac, orange Tic Tac, some mini marshmallows, a few sticks of beef jerky.
What are you putting the inside of a 7-Eleven inside this Lambda shuttle?
Nope.
Nope. Just that gas station vending.
I am
machine.
attempting to identify what is in the actual ration case in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh,
Those are definitely chiclets.
Uh-huh.
Tic Tacs.
Those are those like Johnsonville breakfast sausages in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And then we
Yep,
got like
uncooked.
a granola, not granola, a graham cracker.
Yep. Is that
Saying
baked
it's
beans in the
smooth.
top right?
oh,
I
here we
think
go.
I think the top right is actually like Chex Mix.
Oh, yeah, that'd make more sense.
Yeah, Chex Mix a.
Top left does look like refried beans, like a chunk of butter next to it.
That might be tofu.
No, that's totally chicken nuggets, and then some tater tots, and
Get them chicken nuggies.
are those churros?
Okay, below the dude's thumb looks like I don't remember what those things are called, but I have fucking eaten something like that, and they're disgusting. They're like
Okay, I'm
God, what are
pretty
they
sure that those things to the
Vegemite?
right of. You know, like the
maybe, but it looks like bird food.
okay, you know, like the absolute smallest size of Post-it notes that you can get. That's totally what's to the right of the guy's thumb.
Yeah, and then in the
You
bottom
can't see
right
that,
are
right?
Mentos.
And then there's just a little
Oh,
compartment
yeah,
that
that's
has nothing. in it.
definitely old Mentos.
The bottom right? No, those are the marshmallows.
No, those are old
Yeah,
Mentos.
that could be Mentos. Yeah.
Mentos used to be more thick and bulbous.
Yeah.
They didn't used to be ovular shaped.
Discs. Anyway, you're in the Lambda shuttle. I assume you're making for the crash site.
Yes.
Yeah, well, there's two of them. Which one are you heading for?
How close are they together?
They were sort of heading off in a similar trajectory, but they spread more and more as they descend. You think the total distance would only take you about 20 minutes to fly between, just because of how fast ships are in Star Wars. It's still like, we'll say it's like 30 or 40 miles apart, give or take.
Okay. And as we're getting below, we can get a better idea. What's the terrain look like?
Yeah, so they were headed towards these sort of icy foothills leading into a big frozen mountain range as it transitions into a flatter tundra, and they're landing in among these sort of like low snow-covered hills and ridges.
So it's actual tundra, not like a boreal forest or anything.
No, there's no forest that you would detect on this planet.
Not a lot of trees when there's a lot of ice.
Yeah, you think of this planet generally probably doesn't support. Well, you don't know if it doesn't support any life, but it's like Hoth. Like, it's all tundra, frozen ocean, frozen mountains. There's no plant life visible.
Okay. Do we have visual on the closest? I fear we just go to the closest one, whichever we can get
Yeah,
too
you can go to
fast.
the closest one.
Are we in visual range yet?
Eventually, yes, you would come down far enough out of the atmosphere. There are clouds and things that you would pass through. And yeah, as you get closer and closer to the crash site, with it only having crashed, like, we'll say maybe half an hour before you would arrive at the crash site. But yeah, eventually you would be able to get a visual range. There's like a little another would.
Oh,
be
the
a
Viper
smoke
drones
column.
would be down here too.
Yeah, the Viper drones would have beaten you there. They've
Okay. And do they have can we stream video from them?
Yes, you can. They would be able to. There is a delay because it's being sent up to the harrower and then back down to you. They can't communicate to you directly.
Okay, so there's like a 5 to 10 second delay.
Yeah, it's not huge or anything though. Yeah, but anyway, they would. Yeah, if you're looking through the probe droids in advance, they would show the crash site of the life pod. It doesn't appear. Actually,
Well, can
no,
we see
it
both
would be,
life pods then?
Yeah, you can see both life pods. They would actually be smoking now that I think about it, because they did take fire on the way down. All they see is these two crash-landed life pods, though.
Obvious signs of them being open from the inside or the outside?
Well, the Viper probe droids can detect life signs inside them.
Oh, excellent.
Just one in each, right?
Just one in each.
All right, yeah, I think we'll land at the first one, and assuming they both stay in their pods while we're approaching.
Yeah, if you're gonna have one person like monitor the feed from the other pod, they could keep tabs on the other one.
I've got the long-range communicator, so I can do that.
Okay.
That way, if we have to leave the shuttle for whatever reason, we can keep an eye on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll head out.
yeah. And if,
I'll head up and greet the escape pod guy.
yeah, take.
Oh, I thought we were just gonna greet him with the gun that's on the front of the ship.
Nah, let's take him alive since we're down here. We've gone to all this trouble. We might as well just go all the way. Branks, you should probably take Braytac with you since it's going to be close quarters.
Worst case scenario, you can just immersion blender it.
Exactly.
I'm back.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Opens hash.
Given-
There's a
given-
rebel in there. It's not
Given
listening.
where you are, I haven't gotten around to that yet.
Ah, fair enough.
Where are we?
On a very cold planet.
Very cold
We've
place.
landed on Hoth. You and Branks are approaching the first escape pod. The probe says there is one guy alive inside there.
Wait, Pete, getting around to it. That thing was directed at me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll I'll stroll on up to this here escape pod. Does it have a front window?
Yeah, well, it's got a hatch. I mean,
Alrighty.
you remember the escape pod from episode 4? It's got like the hatch that you can see out of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's inside?
Well, as it turns out, the hatch is all like it's completely charred over. You think from a combination of re-entry and being shot at. There is a release on it, though. It is meant to be opened from the outside as well.
All right. Brinks will open it.
You open the hatch. Inside the escape pod, there is a single stormtrooper just sort of lying sprawled out on the inside. He appears to have suffered several severe lacerations.
We got duped.
Is he alive?
Dead?
No, he is very clearly dead.
But there's a life sign.
Correct. Life signs work based on thermal imaging.
So he's still warm enough to come up as a life sign, apparently.
Correct. Believe it or not, life signs can actually be fooled by people who are only recently dead.
Okay. I mean, grab his dog tag.
He's only mostly dead.
What's his TK number? I'll relay that.
You know, let's see, they're usually 3 digits. We'll say TK364.
All right, let's load up onto the shuttle and go to the next pod.
Yep. Assuming you do the same at the next pod.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen any movement or anything from the other probe droid. Although, as you approach, the life sign coming from that pod begins to get a little fainter. And sure enough, the inside is more of the same. This guy's actually cut up even worse. He's got like a big, like, slash right through the middle of his like stormtrooper armor breastplate.
By the looks of this, some kind of vibro weapon?
You think so. And, in fact, Braytak, you would be almost certain that a vibro weapon did this.
Braytek Kree.
Yep. Both troopers killed by vibro weapons.
What can I say? I got bored.
How deep are these cuts? Are we talking a sword, a knife?
You think a sword could do this? Like there are some big broad slashes, some stabs. You know, it's a mix.
Are we talking like a Braytak power sword, or are we talking just your usual vibro blade?
Braytak's power sword could have done this, although he's not cut like cleanly in half or anything.
With a medicine check, what kind of cut it was?
This is a vibro axe.
Can I tell with a medicine check what kind of weapon made it? With relaying the information to Brinks. He knows weapons. I know wounds.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to here? What we can do is how many ranks does Braytak have in melee?
2. No, wait. Where's melee? In melee, all of them.
6?
There's only 5.
Or yeah, 5. Right, they go up to 5. Yeah, then in that case, Tenorarch, you can make a. We're going to make this like an intelligence melee check. So you would use your intelligence or intellect characteristic, and then you would use the 5 ranks in melee from Braytak. He's giving you skilled assistance using a different skill because they both apply here.
Okay, so what would be the roll?
What's your intellect?
5.
Okay, then it would be 5 yellow.
Okay,
And also against difficulty 3. I mean, you can tell it was a vibro weapon, but beyond that, you're not sure.
Shit, I'm rolling crap tonight.
Hmm.
When I know, I'm the melee expert.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell it definitely wasn't something small. Like, a lot of these cuts are too big to have been made with a knife. But beyond the fact that it's a vibro blade, you can't tell anymore beyond that.
Yeah, but you said it's not small.
It's,
and
you know it's not small. It's
so
definitely...
there's only one large vibro weapon on your list. It's a vibro axe.
No, I mean, do you think somebody could have done this with a vibro sword?
That's not on your list.
The vibro sword isn't on the list?
If
Pretty
that's
sure
an
it's on the
option,
list.
I want that. No, there's power sword, electrostat, vibro axe.
Have you
are
looked
you-
under single hand melee?
Oh, yeah, it's on the list.
Yeah. You think a vibro sword could have done this as well? A vibro axe also could have done this?
I have a question.
Basically, you
Pete.
know that it's not a vibro knife. That would be too short.
Do one of these stormtroopers have clutched in their dying grasp a pair of shutter shades?
No.
Good. I had to make
Shutter
sure he
shades?
wasn't back.
I don't remember giving him shutter shades.
Look, man, he seemed like the kind of douchebag that would use shutter shades. Okay.
So
Yeah,
we
that's-
were.
All you're
in
able
the-
to conclusively determine is that somebody didn't just, like, pick up a vibro knife and stab this guy a few times. It was clearly more than that.
So we were in the prison wing, and then escape pods launched with dead stormtroopers.
Seemingly.
And they're still on the ship.
Order that guy to self-destruct his ship.
Now he needs to check out the prisoner again.
Well, you do still have communications with the ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brinks is going on with the
Oh.
comm there.
Where are these stormtroopers from? What section were they? Were these the ones sent to the cell block? What identify 'em?
Well, you would have their TK numbers. If you were to send those up to the ship, they would tell you that these were just part of the ship's stormtrooper complement. They weren't. They hadn't been like assigned to anything in particular. They were. They're still expected to be like in uniform while they're serving on the ship. Outside of their personal like leisure hours, we'll say. But they weren't. I'm trying to think what they actually would have been doing. It's like when you have like a ship with a complement of like
Were they a part of the complement that was supposed to be going to the prison?
no.
All right.
I mean, it sounds like they very well could have been part of the. I mean, look, if we're putting a ship into lockdown, one of the first places you're going to post a group of stormtroopers is going to be the escape pods. Right?
Yeah, I mean you think that is
I mean,
likely.
They
All the
have
ways
to
off
have
the
been
ship.
there to be dumped in the body. Well, sorry, they'd have to be there to have their bodies dumped in the escape pods. And Brinks is going to call up our ISB contact and let him know that the escape pods were decoys.
Yeah, you could do
I mean,
that.
by this time, as soon as Brinks and Braytech were back on the shuttle, I would have been hauling ass back to the ship. I wouldn't have gone to the facility or anything like that. I would have immediately turned around and flown back up to that Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
no hesitation.
In response to so you're all hauling back or you're hauling ass back up to the Harrower.
Actually, can I make a Supreme Full Throttle?
That's. I think that's only over the scale of like a few minutes that you can do that, right?
Yeah, but it would still be fast.
Yeah, I mean you can get there a little faster. We'll say. I'm not going to make you roll it, but
Okay. I had enough time to try it to be able to get it for the couple of times that I could have gotten it.
yeah, you can try to go irresponsibly fast in this Lambda shuttle. And I'll just say that like on average you're able to push the engine maybe a little further than they might appreciate you doing, but hey, they said you could use it.
It's a rental.
Yeah.
All right, once we get back to the hangar, I'm gonna turn it around and slam it in reverse.
Anyway, Branks, when you send them that, you would hear back from Jirlan. He would say, "Well, that explains the situation up here. There was clearly some kind of firefight, but all I'm finding is destroyed parts of stormtrooper armor and a few severed limbs."
Can say again? Confirm firefight?
Yes, confirmed firefight. There appears to be blast scoring on the walls.
The bodies we found in the life pods were killed with somebody using a vibro weapon, a large, like a sword or an axe type vibro weapon.
Correct. That appears to be the case as well, although there are no complete bodies up here. We only have parts, though these parts appear to have been severed. By
The
something
scorch marks
similar.
were the stormtroopers shooting back. The body parts he's talking about are from the vibro weapon. That all checks out.
We're returning to the ship. Can you pull up security footage for the man trap outside detention and the escape pod room so we can see who we're dealing with?
Yep, I'm sending them over now. And yeah, on one of your data, or actually, maybe they would just send them to the ship. You have plenty of things that are capable of receiving this.
Mhm.
And you would get 2 video files. The first one shows the Sally port leading into the detention block. It shows the group of 4 officers step into the Sally port. Then there is a bright white flash, and the camera cuts out for about 3 minutes in total. And
Can I go like right before the flash and start going backwards frame by frame? Was a grenade thrown in there?
If you go frame by frame, actually, tell you what, make a difficulty 4 perception check.
Braytac is practicing the moves shown in the GIF
Very
for
nice.
when he meets the Mall Ninja 2.0.
Oh. Yeah, you're not able to find anything.
All right, but there's a flash. Did it originate on a person or like in space, like in the open space?
With a roll that bad, you can't tell. There's footage 1 second, and then there's a flash. You can't, or the camera cuts out, and then by the time it turns on, all you can see is the scene that greeted you when you walked in.
Okay. What about the footage?
How much?
Go ahead.
How much time passed between when the camera started working and we showed up?
Asking the right questions here.
Well, the better question is how much time from when the camera stopped working to when we showed up? Because that's when the incident happened.
Yes.
What I
so,
asked plus 3 minutes.
Yeah, well, so what happened was the camera cut out, 3 minutes passed, the camera comes back on, and then if you continue to watch after that, eventually it shows you guys walking in there. And at that point, I think it would have been, we'll say that's 18 minutes after the initial flash.
When did the alarms go off?
The alarms would have gone off in between then. You recall Jirlan saying, "Oh, he should have been here 10 minutes ago."
And that's when I told him to sound the alarm.
Yes, and that is when you told him to sound the alarm, so that would have been 13 minutes after the initial flash. And then 5 minutes later, you were down there.
So they didn't even try to get into the man trap. They just hit it with a stun grenade and left him there.
Did we find any fragments of a stun grenade?
No, but I'm making an assumption.
Yeah, I'm thinking flash was something with the computer system.
Could be an ion weapon.
Yeah, too.
Would an ion weapon down 4 guys?
No, the camera though.
An ion weapon would not knock anybody unconscious. It's not designed to do that.
But are the cameras sensitive to if a stun grenade went off like right in front of it? Would it take out that camera temporarily?
You think it would interrupt the visual? It wouldn't destroy the camera.
But it would do something like white out the camera for 3 minutes.
Maybe not for 3 minutes. It would, yeah.
That's why
Wait.
he said ion.
So, a question here. We found one of them dead, of the 4 officers. 1 dead, 3 unconscious. The only physical damage being it looks like they fell.
Hmm.
What killed the one that was dead?
You couldn't tell.
There was
He
nothing
killed them.
immediately obvious.
He's just dead.
He was just dead with no clear cause.
To be clear, there wasn't a body added after the flash, right? The same
No.
number of people were there before and after?
4 people walked into the room, the flash happens. When you regain visual, those 4 people are still there, except now they're lying on the floor.
All right, how much time has passed? Let's keep the flash as our reference.
Mhm.
How much time has passed overall with us getting back to the ship pretty soon here since
Sure.
that initial flash?
If you want to do that, let's keep running through the timeline, because they also sent you footage of what happened in the,
Escape pod bay.
in the
Escape
escape pod
pod
bay.
blocks.
Yeah, and to make a long story short, it's the same story.
3 minutes,
There
bunch
is-
of dead bodies.
Yes, except you
Well,
can,
bunch of parts.
there's a bit more than that you would get from this one. From this one, there would be the same flash, the visual cuts out, and
Does
actually,
it line
well, I
up
should
exactly with the other one, timestamp wise?
So I should say first, before the flash happens, you would see a group of, we'll say a dozen stormtroopers in the life pod bay. They would all sort of shuffle in there, and this would have been around when the alarm was triggered. And then let's see, how long would that have been?
So that's 13 minutes after the initial flash.
Yeah, we'll say that. Now I'm having trouble keeping the timeline straight in my head myself.
Write it down.
I didn't go into this much detail when I wrote out what would happen.
you know who you're talking to, right?
Yeah, apparently. The problem is, like, when I wrote all of this, I wasn't focusing on, like, oh, this is exactly how many minutes will pass in between each event. It's
Yeah,
more
no,
like,
you're fine. You're fine.
yeah, here's like the 5 different things that I think they might do when I tell them that such and such thing happens, and here's the information they get when they do that. Yeah, but anyway.
Naturally, we go for method 6.
Yeah, naturally you go for the one that I wasn't prepared for at all. Yeah, anyway, we'll say that another few minutes go by, and yeah, well, so the stormtroopers would have come in there at the same time that the lockdown was triggered. Given that the lockdown was triggered in the context of a potential prison escape, yeah, they would have sent people to guard the lifeboats. Then, we'll say about 2 minutes before you would have received word that the lifeboats had been jettisoned, there is that flash, and the camera cuts out. And this time it stays off for quite a bit longer. Well, no, I said 2 minutes. No, it would have taken a little bit longer. Yeah, we'll say 5 minutes before the you would have gotten word that the lifeboats had been jettisoned. The camera cuts out. Then 5 minutes later, it comes back on with the and then inside the lifeboat bay, you can see like pieces of stormtrooper armor, weapons fallen to the floor, a couple detached body parts, and all of the lifeboats are gone. And then several minutes after that, Jirlan and several other people walk in.
Okay, so I just want to real
I don't
quick
know.
verify the whiteouts didn't happen at the same time.
No, they happened concurrently. The
Yep,
opposite of concurrently, successively. One happened and then the other happened.
How close are these 2 points together?
So let me think about the order that things happened in.
Is it one team? Is it possibly one team? Is it close enough that a person could have triggered the first flash and then ran to the second flash?
It is far enough away that that is possible, yes. Or far enough apart, yes.
The thing
Or
is,
close enough.
I don't think this is a team.
You think a multi-hit squad?
No, I'm thinking this is an individual.
Which is believable. Okay, so Pete, this is the run back of how I would think this through. I would like to access the camera system, and then all of the cameras that I can access between those 2 points, I would like to go through as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah, you can request access to that.
Yeah, just jumping from camera to camera, playing the footage quickly, going to the next one in sequence from the prison to the escape pods.
Yeah, in order to do something like that, you would have to be back on the ship. So we'll say that this happens after you get back.
Okay. Do you want any checks for that?
No. You're able to get back and land successfully. I don't need you to roll for that.
No, I meant the computer stuff.
Oh yeah, that, yes. I will say...
I mean, it's just a matter of playing the footage fast, going to the next camera, playing the footage fast, going to the next camera, but...
It's a matter of playing the footage fast, but it's also a matter of being able to find the footage for, like, adjacent rooms and things like that.
Yep.
And being able to do this in, like, a logical manner so that you could try to follow the path that somebody might have taken to do this.
Yep.
So I'm going to say this is difficulty 4, but I'm going to make it a little harder.
Alright. Well, I'm going to make it a little easier.
Yes, this will be a difficulty 4 computers check. So 3 purple, 1 red.
Okay. Late side? I only got 2 ranks in computers now, so I still only have 3 dice, though.
Sure. Do you want me to flip it for you?
Yeah, I'm already typing. I never think to do that. And can Devati give me unskilled since he's basically standing there with me?
Yeah, you can have unskilled.
Alright. And 3 purples, 1 red.
Correct.
Wish me luck. I want new dice.
Yeah, so you're not able to identify any individuals sort of following the path you think they would have to have taken. However, also with those 2 advantages, you might be able to glean some information based on possibilities you could rule out using this footage. Let me think about this for a second.
Yeah, were there any other concurrent flashes on any of these cameras, for example?
There weren't any others. The only flashes you observe are in the footage that you've already been sent. So the one in the Sally
So the
Port,
2 known flashes.
and then
alright.
the one in the Life Pod Bay. That being said... So, yeah, you're not able to identify any individuals that you can see moving between rooms or entering the Life Pod Bay. However, it would occur to you with those 2 advantages that with the lockdown having gone into effect before they would have gone into the Sally Port, they would need to have gotten in there somehow.
Yeah.
And it's not obvious how they did that.
Because the only way in was the elevator. Like, this is the hallway to the hallway.
No, I'm talking about the Life Pod Bay. When the lockdown went into effect, the Life Pod Bay would have been locked down as well. And they clearly got in there somehow, but you're not sure. It's like, it's not obvious how they were able to get through the secured doors.
Vents. They're in the vents.
You think he vented?
I got it.
Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. I feel like we're currently in, say, I don't know, one of those situations where a gun-toting, sword-wielding maniac is currently running around our ship collecting all the colored key cards they need or something.
Oh, you do not want me to throw Star Wars Doom Guy at you.
It feels like we're fighting Star Wars Doom Guy.
If you were fighting Star Wars
fucking
Doom
secret
Guy,
areas.
you would not be nearly
anyway,
this subtle about it. You would
No,
already be
he's an
fighting him.
imposter. There's an imposter among us.
With the knowledge that we have about the vents, would it be able? Would we be able to narrow down the camera search
Well, you don't know anything about the vents. All you know is that they got into the room somehow, and it's not clear how they did that.
So there's
Okay.
three possibilities I see, guys. One is the vents, that's true. Second is, are personal cloaking devices a thing in Star Wars?
Oh, not that you would know about.
Okay, fair enough.
That's like Old Republic tech that sort of disappeared.
Okay.
They're
That sounds like a cover-up. But okay.
yeah. Well, I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm having to like run through the mental Star Wars lore encyclopedia, and it's a little slow to load.
Yeah, Star Wars has always been very inconsistent about cloaking technology and personal cloaking in general.
Yeah. So personal. What some of you might or might not know is that personal cloaking devices have, like for living humanoids as opposed to for like droids. Those are a thing that have been attempted to varying degrees of success, but generally, if something can like turn invisible and move around, it's going to be a droid. Because having something alive cloaked makes it a whole lot more complicated for numerous different reasons.
Okay. The other possibility is some type of remote operation combined with a hacker. Or a slicer in this universe. That the cameras weren't taken out by a stun grenade or ion grenade or anything, but they were blanked out by somebody remotely. And then a small, like, micro drone went in there and killed people.
That was my next question, actually, for the computer side of things. The computer system itself, would there be some sort of access log for the security cameras?
For the security cameras?
Yeah.
There would be an access log for people accessing it in the way that you're accessing it, like to view the footage. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, essentially. Just there should be like a user list, and so and so user is logged in.
Yeah. So before today, looking back through the history, you can see that like the security camera footage is reviewed at regular intervals. We'll say like maybe weekly or bi-weekly. We'll say bi-weekly they review the security camera footage in each area. But the first viewing of the security camera footage that you can see today is from you. It would have all been like after this whole incident started.
Well, there was no base level access at any point during those flashes. Okay.
Not that you
So,
can tell.
like, yeah, so likely then either we're looking at a sophisticated high level hacker that's able to cover their tracks very well, or most likely an ion weapon of some kind. In which, if you think about it, they could probably just, repeat the ion process if they need more time. So I'm assuming a blaster. But with no obvious access, can we go to the Sally Port and look around for an obvious access point? I'm assuming we're still, the Star Destroyer is still in a lockdown at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, you would know that there's an access point, like, in the elevator. I mean, you've all seen Episode 4. There's like those little sockets around.
Yep. No, I don't mean access point like that. I mean access point like entry.
An entry point into
Oh.
the salad port besides the door.
It's like Episode 2 where they cut the top of the elevator open.
Ah.
I think that was Episode 2. Was that 1?
They cut the top of the elevator open.
I believe that's episode 3 aboard Grievous's flagship, if I recall. They do cut open the top of the
I
elevator
believe that's the
Hop on
usual
in.
suspects.
and jump to battle droids, who they then proceed to, like, completely annihilate.
Yeah, the two battle droids lean over the edge of the elevator and it comes crashing down and destroys them.
Well, it's same movie. I think that was a later scene.
Anyway, if you were to return to the Sally Port, you would find that, yes, there is like an access hatch on top of the elevator for getting up into the shaft, if you need to. But once you get into the Sally Port leading to the security station before the actual prison block, the only obvious way through there is like through the big shielded door. It cuts off the whole hallway.
Okay, but they could have came in the elevator, dropped an ion grenade, dropped down, stun, picked up the parts of the ion grenade, because apparently there was no parts, or at least we didn't see any. I'm going with Brinks on the individual, because it makes more sense than a hit squad.
Yeah, trying to get a squad of soldiers around a ship like this undetected is frankly difficult to believe.
Yeah, so I'm leaning towards individual, which means you're leaning towards stealth assassination thought process. So
Oh,
yeah, they're
I know what
give-
I'm leaning towards, but
Mall Ninja.
worse. Wizard monk.
Oh, right.
Well, it
true.
can't be a Jedi because there's only one right now in the timeline.
Not remotely accurate.
And we're not in a canon timeline. We're in Pete's timeline.
Yeah.
There could be as many Jedis as Pete wants to be.
Yeah,
There could be a whole
seriously,
Star Destroyer that pulls up on us that's full of Jedis right now.
The only awareness you have of anything resembling Jedi. Well, first of all, the Empire has done its damnedest to ensure that everybody forgets the Jedi even existed. Those that do remember them as being traitors to the Republic, and that the Empire was founded to rid the galaxy of their corruption.
Yeah, they sieged Mandalore.
Yeah, aside from that, you may have heard rumors of this rebel hero named Luke Skywalker who is said to have supernatural powers, but beyond that, that's all you would have heard.
So our characters in our current canon have no idea what a Jedi or a space wizard would be.
Your knowledge about Jedi is purely historical and only within the context of the Republic as it existed 40 or 50 years ago, or however long it's been, I forget.
Hell, I imagine even in the case of Branks, it's probably more like old Mandalorian cultural memory where it's like, yeah, we used to fight fucking space wizards.
Yeah, and maybe some of that.
They were wizards. They did wizard shit. We fought them.
A wizard did it.
Now, the
Well,
doctor
anyway,
knows
we're
how
sidetracking a
sensitive
bunch
people
here.
exist.
What's
The
that, Doc?
doctor knows sensitive people exist.
Yes, the Doctor
Because
knows that force sensitivity is a thing.
Space wizards.
Although,
Well, regardless, we need to find this individual, and that would go back to tracing the clues. So I would like to investigate that hatch in the elevator if possible to see if there is any sort of forced entry or anything from the other side. They had to have gotten in the Sally Port somehow.
that is true.
Stormtroopers are on the one side of the door, officers are on the other side of the door, so they couldn't have gone through that door. That leaves the elevator as the only way in. Unless we're dealing a phantom, unless there's another way into the Sally Port, which Pete just said that there was no obvious ones.
yeah, I'll say if you want to roll difficulty for, yeah, it would just be perception to try and find any other possible way in that isn't immediately obvious.
Anybody actually good at
You
perception?
can go around tugging at panels, looking for any possible way somebody might get in other than the door.
I mean, I've got a rank in it.
I have a rank in 4 dice, so I don't know if you beat that or not.
I've got a rank in 2 dice.
How's Aiden's perception?
And its ability to enhance it.
Yellow, green, green.
Okay, so it sounds like all of you have one rank, and then Branks has his bonus here.
Bonus?
Yeah, with your optic suite and your helmet.
Oh, that applies to this?
Maybe. Did we integrate a mechanical scanner into your helmet? I can't remember if you did.
We
that
gave
or
him
not.
predator vision.
Well, yeah,
Unclear.
well, I mean, if you had an integrated mechanical scanner, it would say that you did. In your notes, I hope.
What I mean by unclear is that there's still not an official write-up on what the optical suite is and when it and what includes where and when. I know I have
I think I told you what
macro
it did.
binoculars.
Yeah.
I have a ability to remove a difficulty die when making perception check stuff.
Hmm.
using that optical suite. And then there's integrated electro binoculars.
Yep.
Not
And-
certain if is mechanical binoculars like a.
Then, if it doesn't say that, then I don't think you ended up doing that.
Okay. So mechanical stuff is a separate item. Okay.
So there is an item in the gear section called I think it's called a mechanical scanner. It's used in making repairs. You would have one on the Peaceful Intentions. But anyway, you could use something like that to, normally you would use it to scan for damage below, like through metal, and to see if the hull has sustained damage anywhere.
I mean,
But
I
you could use it
have-
here to find, like, a vent or something.
I do have mechanics knowledge.
Yeah. And so if you want to apply your mechanics skill to this perception check, you could do that instead.
I would love to.
Then do that.
Does it still apply as a perception check?
Yes.
All right. So
So he would get 2
Aiden-
boost dice?
Yep,
Sure.
Aiden can give you 2 blue from that. And then I can give you unskilled, so you get 3 blue.
I thought unskilled provided a green.
No, unskilled gives you 1 blue.
Okay, so I have 3 blue.
Sounds like it.
Let's flip a fucking light side on here.
Absolutely. You want me to roll it for you?
Nah,
think
I
I-
got it. Oh, you mean the light side part? Yeah. Let's see. So
Oh,
yellow,
never mind,
yellow,
got it.
yellow, green, blue, blue, blue. What's the difficulty?
I think I said 3? Yeah, 3.
Here we go.
Bam! This
Yeah,
man knows
you-
his elevators.
Yeah, with a combination of, like, exhaustive searching and mechanical knowledge, you were able to conclude absolutely positively that the only possible way they could have come in here was through the elevator. And not just through the elevator, but through the elevator door.
So we know that they're not like shaft hopping.
Yeah, you think so.
Wait. Like they would have had to use the elevator and come out like a normal person, or they're doing the Doom, Dark Forces, Marathon, Quake, riding on top of elevators.
No, you think they came up the elevator like a normal person.
Okay.
Mall ninja.
Given that this is the brig, the exterior door of the elevator is also very secure. You think it would be very difficult to open this from the shaft if the car was not at the correct place.
And
Does-
the vent in the elevator?
Yeah, I mean there are some in there.
That's what I was asking specifically.
Wait, in the elevator or in the elevator shaft?
The elevator itself, like how did they get into the elevator?
No,
Like how did they
no,
get into this secure space? That's what I'm looking at.
With that roll, I can tell you they would have to have. Basically, the only possible way they could have done this is if they just walked in here, like a normal person.
They rolled the
think they-
elevator up and walked out the doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was no shaft hopping. You don't think they could have gone through a vent to get in there, considering that you haven't found one and you're pretty sure there can't possibly be one that would allow them to do this.
All right. So they
And-
have security access then.
And then they rendered 3 officers unconscious and killed one with no visual signs of how it was done.
And then, while we were en route to there, they ran off and slaughtered a bunch of people at the escape pods.
Without us running into them and not being on camera footage.
That you can find.
Yeah, that was a shit roll.
Well, yeah, but the fact that you failed should still tell you something. Like, if somebody had been like running full tilt down the hallway to get to this other part of the ship and cause all of the things that have happened, you think you probably would have seen that. If it were that obvious, I wouldn't have made you roll for it.
Or they were running so fast that you blinked, and that's when they moved across the screen.
They're moving faster than 60 frames per second.
Yes.
Well,
I-
the human eye only runs at night,
No,
so-
no, they used the Force to predict when you would blink while reviewing the security camera footage, and only were in view during those times.
Don't we have a tracker?
They're
Just
using
track
taking
'em.
advantage of saccadic masking to appear invisible.
We have a tracker on our ship. However, the
No, we got like a
Star
straight up
Destroyers.
big game tracker.
oh,
This is
you mean
clearly a big game.
We need to hunt the most dangerous game, Aiden.
See if there are
Man.
like footprints,
Footprints
like
on
their
the
shoes
Or-
were
on the
dirty-
ship.
dirty.
Or we could just do what they're doing and just go in the ship and just start like slashing people to pieces, and eventually we'll run into them, and then we can slash them into pieces.
yeah, just kill everybody on the Star Destroyer, and they won't have anybody left to kill.
Spray tech votes for that plan.
Hold on, before we go crazy. The area around the first security camera, does it have ventilation ducts?
What do you mean the first security camera?
The security camera that he reviewed where he didn't see anyone run across the hallway, that's over by the escape pods, yes?
Is that the first place you would have looked?
No, I would have started at the Sally port and went towards the.
Okay, when you say starting at the Sally port, do you mean like the place they could have gotten onto the elevator that goes to the Sally port? Because there are several of those.
Yeah, that's essentially. I would have, from the Sally port to whatever elevator they needed to change decks to get to the escape pods, and then the most efficient route across the ship. I would have went along those cameras and reviewed all of them at fast forward pace to see if there was anything out of place on all of those cameras.
Ah, I see. So in order to do that, they would have had to have gone basically to the bottom of that elevator because the escape pod bays are on the bottom of the ship.
Yep.
Yeah. So in that case, you would review the room that elevator opens out into at the bottom of its run, and in there, yeah, you think there are some ventilation shafts.
You know what? I'm gonna head down there. I'm gonna head down to this escape pod area. My goal is to check it out, see if the vents were utilized to get in. Looking at this room from a mechanical sense, it's electrical stuff, HVAC.
Yeah, HVAC.
I assume there's no plumbing, but
Why does this
you
game
never
always
start.
turn into my job again? What the hell is this?
Look, man, it's not my fault that you work on a Star Destroyer.
I wish I worked on a Star Destroyer. God. Anyway. So you're trying to examine the ductwork?
Yes.
Uh,
The conduits.
Yeah, let's not split up, so we all go there.
yeah, so you go to that room.
You don't want to split up and search for clues?
While there's some random invisible guy running around hacking people to pieces? No, I do not.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
You have to remember, the invisible man running around hacking people to pieces is the best case scenario.
Worst case scenario, it's a visible wizard.
I don't know. I haven't made you fight anything invisible yet, and I don't think you want to.
No. I mean, I might be okay. I got
Yeah.
electro binoculars.
Oh, that's true, actually. But yeah, so there are ventilation ducts down here. You think? Yeah, I mean, just glancing at them, there's when you get sort of towards the corners of the room where the footboard on the wall would be, it sort of slants upward at like a 45-degree angle, and there's some grating there. And if you were to like pull back those grates, there's some sort of exposed mechanical space. You can see conduit and duct going by. You think somebody could wriggle in there? It would be really tight, though. And any place that there's like an air duct, that would be mounted into the floor in those places.
I'd like to hop up in here. Poke my head around.
I mean, it would be down. This is like a trench that runs along the side of the hallway. It's not on the ceiling.
I'll poke my head down there.
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, it's a It's a long slot full of various metal tubes and wires and whatnot. If you were to try to shimmy through this, it would be quite uncomfortable. And you're not sure you would even get anywhere.
Where was the firefight?
The firefight was in the escape pod bay.
So they found that after we already found the escape pod.
Yeah, well, the Jirlan went there, and eventually they sent you video of what happened there. At the end of the video, you saw the scene that Jirlan would have come across. Yeah, so stuff like that, except imagine it all like packed into a very narrow slot and then covered with a grate over it.
Hunter just took a picture of his ceiling.
Actually, that's underneath a raised floor.
Oh, that's a raised floor. Okay. Oh yeah, I guess it is, yeah.
Could I look for evidence of where he went? Like maybe some blood got on him and dripped in a certain direction. Or there's a bloody footprint just heading off somewhere.
So one thing I can tell you is that because this is Star Wars, most weapons don't draw blood. They instantly cauterize whatever wounds they make.
Oh yeah.
Like, Braytak, you've been slicing people just all the fuck up with that power sword, and you don't get like a drop of blood on you doing that, because all of the wounds instantly cauterize, because it's a vibro weapon.
Well, the only thing I can think of is to plant some grass and maybe hope he walks back here.
I got an idea.
Is there like a big set of doors somewhere? So like, if we go to the door, and like they're really big, and then they open slow, like there would be like some dramatic thing on the other side. Can't we just go there?
Well, a lot of the doors that would trigger during the lockdown have that property, including the ones leading into the escape pod bay. You know, these are big, like, blast shielded doors. They're meant to be shot at and take a lot of punishment.
So we're not really getting anywhere following this guy. Rather, what we should do at that point then is switch to where he's likely to go and wait him out. So I would suggest we go back to the prison block and we sit on the prisoner, eyes on, and see if he shows up.
Ah, there's one thing we should be concerned about with that plan, though, Under.
What's that?
Well, there could be a space wizard among us. He could just set the reactor to go critical. Then two of us will have to go and override it.
Or we just execute the prisoner if that happens.
It's clear their goal is to retrieve this prisoner. If they wanted to blow the ship up, they would have done that a long time ago.
See, that's the thing. Is that clear?
They went to the prison because they knew that would be where we would all be diversion-wise, and then they created a new diversion once we immediately headed there when our prisoner didn't show up when they were supposed to.
Mm-hmm. And thus we
So
put
my
the ship
guess
we put the ship on
is they're listening
lockdown
on the ship's
because of that.
comms. Yes, but I'm guessing they're listening to the ship's comms because we've never done anything that we've said to the bridge securely.
I mean, it's only as secure as the Star Destroyer's internal communication system.
Right, real security would be face-to-face. Is Jirlan still at the escape pod room?
Not anymore. He would be at the bridge now.
Okay, well,
you
while we wait, can we arrange for the stormtroopers to all line up and then do something like this?
Probably not.
What?
That's very nice.
Oh my god, that's fucking great.
I think
if
Jirlan
they're
would
not
say
meant to be
no.
used like dominoes, why are they black and white?
You got a point there.
All right, so why don't you guys go to the detention block and sit eyes on the prisoner. And, I'll go talk to Girlan in person in case comms are compromised and tell him what we're doing.
I'll go to our ship and crank up our comm stuff and sit in the hangar with my life signs detector at max, because I'm pretty sure, other than escape pods, is the only other way off the ship, right?
You can do that with the well, actually, some of the instruments you would have on the Peaceful Intentions would not work while you're inside of a hangar bay. However, the sensor range on an Imperial Star Destroyer is significantly more than on the Peaceful Intentions.
Yeah, I'm not trying to look outside the ship.
Ah, I see.
I'm looking in the hangar bay for life signs that don't belong.
Okay.
I got a question, Pete, in terms of the setup before we came here.
Yeah.
How public aboard the ship was the information about our special prisoner?
Public. So you're asking how much do the crew know about what exactly is being done here?
Yeah.
So they would have to know that there's a prisoner on board, because that's a security issue. Like, if something like what has happened, or what people initially thought was happening, happens, which is that the prisoner is trying to escape, everybody on board needs to know that, because that's a security issue.
What I mean more is like, how public is that information on the prisoner? Like the nature of our mission, why they're here, who they are, that type of stuff. Not just like we have a person.
No, we have a person is all that most of the people on board this ship would know. They don't know that you're going to a black site. They don't know that the prisoner is a rebel. That's not information they would be privy to.
Okay. I don't know, guys. I cannot shake the feeling that this is more than it appears to be.
No
That's
shit.
already been established.
That's why I'm telling you guys to go to the detention block and sit eyes on the prisoner. Do not trust video. Do not trust assurances. Sit there and look at her with your Mark I eyeballs. I'm gonna go tell.
Granks has Mark II eyeballs, but that'll work too.
I don't know. Apparently, he wants me to take my helmet off and look.
That's forbidden.
You know what I mean. Don't just rely on a security camera. Don't rely on a status indicator on the cell that says there's somebody inside there.
Take a chair, put them in a big open empty space with nothing around it, point your gun at them, and just sit.
Okay. What's everybody else doing?
No, I want everyone to do that except for me, and then I'm going to go talk to Girlan on the bridge.
Okay, so everybody but Devati is going to go to the cell block and do what exactly?
That.
Yeah, but go into more detail. They're in a cell. With a door.
How big is the cell?
Well, I mean, think back to episode 4. It's like...
So it's like 5 by 5.
Yeah, roughly.
Let's
Really,
just...
Not great accommodations.
What if we just lock Braytac in the room with the rebel?
Because what if Braytac gets taken out? That's why I wanted the whole squad there.
What if
Braytac taken out?
All I'm gonna say is, if you lock me in a cell with someone, I'm really bored. There's only gonna be one person coming out.
Yeah, Hell in a Cell, Star Wars edition.
That's why I said empty cell.
Only one person comes out. It's the rebel. She killed Braytac in melee combat.
Okay, so is that what you're doing? You're just leaving him in there?
So that's what I told them. I told them to go there and sit eyes on the prisoner, and then I went to go talk to Girlan. So I guess that determines on how they interpret that.
Yeah, I just want to know how exactly they're going to achieve constant eyes on the prisoner while they're in a somewhat small cell. With a door that is not designed to be kept open, I should add.
That's why I said just take him out in the middle of the room and put him on a chair. But at the same time, So these cells are pretty hard clad. There is just a small, I'm assuming, small ventilation for them.
There is, although to what you just said, Nevin, there would also be a room that you could use for interrogation that's a bit bigger.
Yeah,
including a
that's
chair.
what I was saying. Yeah,
Well, there you
big
go.
empty room with a chair. Put them in the middle of it. That way you can keep eyes on, not looking through a camera, but you're not crammed into a 5x5
That is an
with your
option.
3x3.
Okay, yeah. So you have that room available to do what he's just described.
I'm not with it. Like I said, I'm back on our ship, fucking cranking the sensors out. The
okay.
internals of the Star Destroyer, are they dense enough that I can't scan through them, or am I only worried about the armor that's going to cause me not to be able to see through it?
So before we get to that, so it sounds like we have 3 groups now. Devati is going to the bridge to go talk to Jirlan. He has told everybody else to watch the prisoner, and everybody else is doing that except Nevin, who is going back to the Peaceful Intentions in the hangar.
And I can go last. It's no biggie.
Yeah. Okay. Then we'll sort of handle these things one after the other. First, Devati would go talk to Jirlan. Do you call him and tell him you're coming up there first?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Then you go up to the bridge, and he sees you walk in, and he looks confused, and he says, Devati, what are you doing up here? I thought you just left.
Some things that I didn't feel comfortable talking to you about over comms. I just kind of gesture over to the back corner of the room. Like, can we talk, semi-privately at least?
Sure. Where's the rest of your cohort? Did you send them down without you?
They should be the detention block at this point, keeping an eye on the prisoner. Because we're looking through all of the evidence, and there's no evidence as to who did this or what did this. Since we can't find a trail, we figured we'd sit on their obvious objective and make them come to us.
We have a problem then, because the shuttle that I let you undocked from us 10 minutes ago. And at this point,
we were
Nevin,
already aboard.
Correct. And at this point, Nevin, when you get to the hangar, you see that the shuttle you guys arrived back on the Harrower in is no longer there.
Immediately calm that up to Devati. How far away from
Hold on, who's on the shuttle?
Nobody that we know.
No, I'm asking Jirlan.
They thought it was us.
Why did they think it was us? Remember we told them we were coming back. We calmed them on the way back.
Yeah, and then we heard comms from the shuttle saying that you were going down to perform further reconnaissance.
It was my voice.
No, it wasn't your voice. It was one of them.
Whose? Be specific, because none of us made that call.
Well, I couldn't tell which one of you it was, to be honest.
How many life signs were on the shuttle? Because that wasn't us, obviously. My whole team's on board. I came to talk to you because I wasn't sure I could trust internal ship comms, so they might be listening in, whoever this was.
Unfortunately, we weren't monitoring the shuttle at that time.
Really? That isn't picked up and recorded on their traffic control?
Not automatically.
Where did it land?
And at that point, he would yell at somebody in the bridge to start tracking the shuttle, given that it only departed 20 minutes ago, and it's currently on course for the black site.
So it's still in space?
Yeah, well, it left, I think he said 10 minutes ago, so it's 10 minutes out.
Right, but is that still in space?
Yes, it takes an hour to get down to the planet.
Launch some TIE fighters.
Call ahead.
Hail
have
them.
Shut down.
Hail the shuttle.
Should have anti-air on the ground.
Hail the shuttle.
The shuttle?
Yes, hail the shuttle.
Yep, they hail the shuttle, and they get no response.
Are they in weapons range?
Not after 10 minutes.
How fast can our fast pilot get down on the ground if it normally takes an hour?
A little less than an hour.
Like 10 minutes left?
20, but 20 minutes ahead.
Can we see if there's life signs on that shuttle?
Not at this distance, they're too far out.
Are they heading in a fixed direction?
They're heading in a fixed direction. They're very clearly making for the black site.
Can we contact the black site?
Yeah, just call ahead.
Yeah, call ahead. Tell them to fire up their anti-air. That's not a friendly shuttle anymore.
Yep, and then he would reopen comms with the black site. They would express that they see their shuttle is.
Are these comms
now
secure?
Coming down to meet with. That's a complicated question. What do you mean?
Can the shuttle listen into this conversation? I'm asking Jirlan this.
I'm trying to think of how you would answer this in a technical way. No, they shouldn't be able to, not unless they really know what they're doing.
Then let them know that shuttle isn't friendly.
Yeah, and then he would cut them off, the people at the black site, and establish that the shuttle coming down to meet them at the site is a rogue vessel, and instruct them to shoot it down. And at the black site, they acknowledge and say that they will do as they've been asked. Sorry, I'm just getting totally mesmerized by this knife sharpening gif. Like, I just had my mouse hovered over.
You too?
Yeah. I just can't
Yeah.
fucking stop staring at him.
He's a gorgeous man.
You know he is.
And
I never
his
saw him
half,
that way,
his
but you're
half
right.
the chat is just staring at knives being sharpened.
Braytech getting angrier.
So I turned to Jirlan when he
There,
says that,
problem solved.
and they send their acknowledgement back. And I say, if they don't shoot them down, what are your intentions?
I think we need to approach this very delicately.
Launch the alert fighters!
We can't just go in there presuming that everybody involved is cooperating with whoever this is. We have to,
Do you have a personal comm link to anybody on the surface, and that's not through the official channel?
a personal comm link? No.
Before we talked to him, when we got onto this Star Destroyer, he didn't know about this black site.
Doesn't mean he doesn't know now. He could have gotten read in.
No, the only comms that we've opened with the black site have been through the ship itself. And only with this comms person we've been speaking with.
Is there any way to verify that the comms people you're speaking with are who they say they are?
Well, that's the thing. They haven't really said who they are at all. They're transmitting on an Imperial frequency, and they're clearly a comms officer of some kind.
Why don't we
They're-
just...
How comfortable are you with threatening them?
Well, I'm only able to threaten them with my position with the ISB. If you mean threatening them with violence, no, I am not comfortable with that at all. What I would recommend is we land at the facility ourselves and conduct a full investigation to ensure that they haven't cooperated with whoever this person or people are.
Let's take the
And then fine.
prisoner with us.
I tell him he
We will not be taking the prisoner with us.
No. I think, Jirlan, that you should stay here on the Star Destroyer with the prisoner. I have a long-range communicator. You can talk to me directly, not through the Black Site's communication network. And then my team goes down there. Because there is a chance, however slim, there's a chance that this facility has gone rogue. And if that's the case, and we're unable to extract, you'll probably need to remove the facility from the face of the planet at that point. And but one of us would need to be up here to give that order. So you should probably stay up here in case that order needs to be given.
You have to realize my primary tool in resolving this whole situation is my own position at the ISB. You think that without me you can accomplish this better? And at this point you should roll, I'm going to say, negotiation.
Okay.
Additionally,
Raises.
this is going to be difficulty 4 with 1 upgrade, so 3 purple and 1 red. And I'm also going to add, I'm going to add a black die to this because you've recommended an approach to this multiple times that he doesn't agree with. And at this point he would be afraid that you'll do something rash. So the difficulty should be, here, I'll write it.
Yeah, I see the difficulty part.
Yes, that is...
When you suggest nuking the planet repeatedly, he begins to become concerned that you're dead serious about that.
You're not making him trust you anymore when you recommend stuff like that.
When I recommend extreme action because an Imperial Black Site's been taken over by the Rebellion?
Well, you have no way to be sure that that's actually...
Which is why I'm not saying shoot them now. I'm saying that he needs to be up here because we don't know what's going on down there. And this is all sounding super fishy. Why would they fly to the Black Site if they don't think that they're going to get a friendly reception? Anyway,
there's your difficulty. I don't like this, but...
I explained to him that way. Like, it's not that I want to nuke. I'm going to be fucking down there. I don't want to get nuked draw it down on myself. But if we both go...
That is what's going to convince him, because you being there and him not being there means that at least you won't, order him to destroy the entire place while you're still inside of it.
Yeah, it's that, and also, if we both go down there, and the site turns out to be hostile, and we're taken out, who's in charge up here?
Another good question. Anyway, that is how you're able to convince him. He doesn't like it, but you make a persuasive enough argument.
All right, well, I'm going to grab the comm scrambling laptop out of Peaceful Intentions, and then I'm guessing there's another Lambda shuttle I can take?
Yeah, there are other shuttles.
Because I'm assuming he'll still want us to take a Lambda shuttle, not our upgraded cruiser.
Correct.
But yeah, I'll grab the comm scrambling laptop out, or whatever, the slicing and the scrambling laptops.
And as we're leaving, I will use my long-range comm to confirm, good communications to the Star Destroyer.
When you say as you're leaving, you mean as you're taking off from the Harrower?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, you can do that.
Right. And I do make sure to ask them to please inform that the second shuttle coming down has the investigatory team, and make sure they only shoot down the right shuttle. It'll be embarrassing. They'll be embarrassing if they shoot down the wrong shuttle.
I'll tell them that you're there to conduct a full investigation and that you are acting on my personal authority.
And also, we have to wait for the response on when that shuttle is closer if they're going to take it out, knowing that it's hostile. Or did I miss that part of the conversation?
Are we there yet?
Well, so that is important, actually. They would
Right, we want to make sure there's enough space between our two shuttles so that their shuttle, they can shoot down the hostile shuttle with us outside their air defense zone.
If you're waiting for that to happen, then either before you leave or as you're en route, they would message back to inform you that the first shuttle has been shot down over over
Oh,
a
excellent.
tundra, we'll say. The black site itself is like up, sort of nestled in the mountains. As the first shuttle was approaching it, it was destroyed by their anti-air defenses on approach.
That's good.
Do our sensors and the Star Destroyer sensors confirm this?
At that range, you would not be able to tell.
Even on the Star Destroyer, couldn't tell.
Let me
Because
check the
I
stat block, but I
radio
don't
them
think
and
so.
ask them, like, do your sensors confirm that shuttle was shot down?
What I'm trying to determine is whether their sensors would actually reach all the way to the surface. Let me get the block up here. Okay, and then I need to look at my thing.
I mean, weren't we coming here with this girl to investigate this place anyway? Why don't we just take her and go in there?
Because the story has changed, Hayes. That is no longer the objective.
Yeah, from the orbit that the Harrower is on, it's too far. They can't actually. The sensors can't see all the way to the surface.
Okay. What about the Lambda shuttle? Its sensors.
As you're getting close, yes, you would. You would pick up that or what's left of the shuttle has like crashed somewhere in the tundra over, or where they say it was shot down over.
Well, that's where I'm going to head, unless the body says otherwise.
No, I want to get a good sensor sweep of that area, make sure there were no survivors.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I want to get close and.
Yeah, no, I'm saying go.
Yep, okay.
And I do get
yeah.
on the comms and inform the black side of our intentions. That we're going to overfly the hostile crash site to ensure that there were no survivors.
Yeah, you can do that.
I don't trust it.
How do they read?
I mean, they. What do you mean? How do they read?
Well, how do they respond to Vadi's request that he's intending to fly over the crash site?
Yeah, they would say, okay, we acknowledge that you're doing that as presumably part of your investigation, is how they would understand it.
Yeah, I don't explain myself. I just tell them we're doing this.
Yeah, they wouldn't really have much to respond to. They would say, okay, you're doing that.
Yeah.
We can't stop you.
Right. It's more.
I mean, they technically can.
It's more I'm in controlled airspace, so I'm informing them of what we are doing and where we are going, so that way they can see it on their side, and no one gets surprised. Surprises are how accidents happen, and people with itchy trigger fingers shoot things down.
They just shot one shuttle down. Yeah, I'm completely. That's the reason I said, how do they respond? Like, what is their response to Devati's request? Because yes, they have itchy trigger fingers now. They just shot one shuttle down. They know a second shuttle is coming, but now we're flying on a trajectory that's not expected.
Yeah, it's also pretty standard controlled airspace to inform control, like the controlling authority of what you're doing.
Yeah, it makes sense. They don't take any issue with what you're doing.
Perfect. All right, low and sweep then.
Yeah. So you
Better not.
you approach the crash site of this first Lambda shuttle, and see, I got to think real carefully about this. Let's see. You're trying to get like as much information out of this as you can, sort of on approach, before you get any closer.
Yes.
Okay. In that case, whoever is trying to do that should make a, I'm going to say difficulty 5 perception check. You get 2 blue dice from the ship's upgraded optics suite, and 2 setback due to the snowy conditions.
And 2 blue dice for me.
Yeah.
Couldn't I argue that the snowy conditions would make looking for life signs easier?
What do you mean?
You said
Well-
they're thermal. You're looking against a cold backdrop.
Yeah. Heat's going to stand out if we're looking at a cold backdrop, even if you cover it with cold, especially with an upgraded suite. So that's why I'm arguing that the 2 setback seems
Oh yeah, well,
kind of high.
that was base. I'm saying, like, I didn't remove the things that your scanner suite would remove in advance.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, we can take one of those off.
All right, so
So
I am
should
making
we-
a perception.
Actually, 5 is a little high. We'll make it 4 with still 1 black die, and you would get 2 blue from the optics suite.
And then 2 more for
Okay,
me.
hang on. Yep,
Yes.
hang on. Let me type all this out without the dollar sign. So right now, can I use my rank in computers because I'm using a sensor for the computers for the perception check?
Not for this.
Okay. All right. You said difficulty 4
Yeah, 4
with 2 setbacks or 1 setback.
with 1 setback, and you get 2 boost from the optics suite.
Yep, 2 boosts from the optic, 2 boosts from Aiden, so that looks right.
Yeah, looks right to me.
Okay. That's a lot of dice.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
use a
all
life
nice.
side point.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Ugh.
However, I think I will use one as well.
All right. So a red instead of a purple.
Hello, sir. Are you sure you have enough dice? Perhaps more dice would satisfy you.
Yeah, so it should be.
Oh, hey, is anyone
LPPK.
giving unskilled assistance?
Oh yeah, I'm not getting unskilled assistance technically.
You could get unskilled assistance.
I'll give him unskilled assistance.
It's not 5 fucking blue. Okay.
Yeah,
that's-
sure.
Your face is unskilled assistance.
That is so many dice.
Hmm. Yeah, you are absolutely positive that there are no life signs.
Well, that's not good.
Good. No, that is good.
Are,
Well,
are,
if
we,
they just died in the shuttle, there should be a life sign.
are we over the ship?
You want to deport? You want to?
Because we've
Drop-
established that dead bodies can give off a false life sign signature.
Yes, but it depends on how, the dead body is dead.
Yeah, so in order, they don't have enough of a head start that the body would have cooled off before you got here. So the only way there wouldn't be at least one life sign coming from the wreck of the shuttle is either if the body were destroyed so completely that it is no longer big enough to register as a life sign, and you can see immediately that the shuttle is too intact for that to have happened.
Do we have
Oh.
do we have EM scanners or something?
Another distraction, just like I said. Well,
So what you're saying is the shuttle's intact enough that if somebody died aboard, the body would still be there and register on life signs.
Yes,
So there is no body aboard this shuttle.
maybe.
There's nothing that's registering on sensors.
Branks
Could be
is
a
going
drone.
to leave the ship.
Yeah. You have a jetpack. Go down there and
Yes.
investigate.
Yeah.
Eyes on.
There is actually some interference from the engines because they do put off heat as well. But with your roll, you're able to see clearly enough through that you can conclude there are no life signs on board.
All right, yeah, I'll get close and do a little side sweep for Branks to be able to jump out.
I'm starting to think Break Tack was right. Maybe we should have brought the prisoner with us.
this is all just side distraction.
Mm-hmm.
They want the girl anyway. They want to get to the place. If we bring the girl and the ship to the place, they'll follow us. Or we just don't worry about them anymore. It's the ship's problem.
I'm pretty sure the girl's under heavy enough guard that a single individual will no longer be able to take them.
Yeah, but
I'm
she would have
assuming
been
that-
the safest with.
I'm assuming with all the information
this
that
guy
Devati would have given.
He dropped different groups of stormtroopers in a flash. So
Yeah, but they weren't expecting a possible single hostile. They
In a
were just
literal flash.
guarding their position. They were just guarding their position. They weren't expecting, resistance. You got to think now. Okay, you got to think of perception versus passive perception. They were passively standing guard at those life pods. Now they're whatever is guarding that prisoner is going to be actively standing guard. They know for certain there is a hostile. It's a lot harder to surprise somebody when they're looking for you.
Alrighty, so I'm descending down to the shuttle.
Okay, you're descending down to the shuttle by yourself using your jetpack.
Yeah, I would have gotten him close. so
Yeah, I
he
think
wasn't
we're just
very
hovering
far.
in a close air support manner.
Mm-hmm.
With that roll, would I've seen any other life signs outside the shuttle?
No, it is utterly barren out here.
Okay, yep.
And yeah, you can descend down to the shuttle. It is wrecked. There's parts of the wing that have come off. It's clearly
Keep
taken
your
enough
comms
damage to bring
open.
it down. But it is still, for the most part, in like one piece.
Yeah, I brought the active comm scrambler with. We're on our secure network with each other.
Yeah, and Brinks is going to the mic is going to be live. Brinks will hot mic this entire time.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what we're telling you.
He's Blair Witching it. You're going to be able to see the whole thing.
Yeah, we just hear he's getting closer. Just
The whispering gets louder and louder.
Okay, let's see. We're just gonna put the lid here. Okay. Alrighty. Joking aside. Yeah, so I'm gonna go in.
Yeah. As you get closer, you can see that the fuselage, we'll call it. I don't know if that's even a word they would use in Star Wars, but we'll call it the fuselage. Is still intact. It's got the I mean, you know where the doors are. The bottom ramp isn't accessible because of the position it's crashed in, but there are still like side and rear doors that you can access. Actually, I'm going to say there's just a rear door on the Lambda. It wouldn't have side doors.
Okay.
Yeah. So are you opening it?
Oh yeah.
Yep. You open it.
Oh, my blaster rifle is out.
I figured. Yeah, you open the door. The inside is it's clearly been tossed about due to the crash. You know, there's like a red blinking light coming from the console, but you don't see anyone, dead or otherwise.
Is it making that annoying alarm? Alarm! Alarm!
No, it's more like a
Terrain, pull up.
it's like ding 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 ding.
All right. What? Here, I don't know what this would be, but I guess knowledge of mechanics and perhaps warfare. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to mix my
Autopilot.
tools here. Looking at that, how much like in D&D terms is that I've prepared explosive runes today, or the reactor set to overload, get bent?
No, you would recognize this as like a fairly standard everything's fucked alarm.
It was on
Like the
autopilot.
ship has sustained serious damage and can no longer fly.
Hey, yeah, check
All right.
check what Braytek's saying. We're on open comms, so yeah, check to see if there's an autopilot set, if you can manage.
Yep. Brinks is going to actually, here's a question for you. This Lambda shuttle.
Mm.
Let's say I'm walking in. Where's the best ambush points?
So the best ambush point would actually be in the cockpit, because there's a separation between sort of the main part of the fuselage and the forward part, where the like the little the dog head at the front. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a separation between that that's about wide enough for one person to fit through. If you wanted to ambush someone, you would stand to either side of that and wait for them to come into the cockpit. Aside from that, the only other ambush points would be to do the same thing, but for like the rear entryway.
So the place I'm right at.
The place you're right at. I mean, you can already tell that somebody didn't do the first one because you would be able to see them. They would have ambushed you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So basically, there's the ambush point is about right in front of me.
Yeah, you think if there is somebody in here who could ambush you, they would be in the cockpit.
Didn't you just say that the cockpit's the one I can see?
sorry, I did say the first one. I meant like the first one in terms of the order from like entering from the back. What I'm saying is that if somebody were to ambush you in the main fuselage, you would already be able to see them. The only place left to ambush you from is the cockpit, because you're not in the cockpit yet.
Isn't there like clear windows on the front?
On the front, yes.
Okay, fly.
Oh,
So
they're
we
not
could
through the
fly the
front.
shuttle around and look from the other way.
Do you do that?
Does Brinks want me to do that?
I do want you to do that.
All right, I'll position the shuttle so that we should be able to see inside the cockpit.
Although, wait, isn't it? I think they're tinted, aren't they?
I don't think
Yes.
so.
No, they are.
They are.
Scroll up.
That's a.
That looks pretty damn
fucking-
tinted to me.
That's not from the actual movie.
Scroll up.
Yeah,
further.
they're tinted in the act.
They're hella tinted.
They're
But
super-
anyway,
I
I'm
mean,
pretty sure somebody could just lean out the back door and shoot it.
Tinted. It's fine. It's fine. I'll begin approaching.
Well, we could just have somebody lean out the back door and shoot the window, or I
Tinted
can do
windows
it
don't
with.
mean nothing. They know who's inside.
Alright, Braytac, as he's flying around the front, he's gonna jump out the thing. So
So
he
you want me to turn the
slams
shuttle around so you
through-
can jump into the window?
So he
Okay.
slams through the window, and he's very athletical, so it's like nothing.
Okay, are you getting close enough to allow him to do that without seriously injuring himself?
The maximum range of him seriously injuring himself.
He has a battle suit thing. It can't injure him. It's like a power mech suit. Goes through the windshield.
I don't
This
recall
is
getting you that.
Star Wars, not Marvel.
Yeah, seriously, Hayes. Yeah, I'm gonna advance.
It has impact absorbent padding.
Yeah, that's not what that does. If you fall from short range or more, you will take damage.
I mean, we can go down close so that he can get out safely, jump out of the
Yes.
windshield.
If you want to do
Yeah.
a cool, like, close-in flyby so that he can jump out dramatically and do a helm splitter straight through the windshield of this Lambda shuttle, you can do that.
Yep, that's the goal.
Alright, is that what Braytac is doing?
Braytac does it.
Okay. I'm gonna say... Actually, make an attack roll.
Attack
let
the
me-
window.
Well, let me have to determine the difficulty here. Okay. This is a Silhouette 4 ship.
Difficulty 2, but with like 30 black dice.
Well, it's melee, so it's only going to be difficulty 1 due to the size difference. Actually,
You
no.
can't
You're,
miss the broadside of a barn.
well, yeah, but you're not trying to hit the broadside of a barn. You're trying to hit the front door of a barn. So I'm going to say it is difficulty 2 because you're aiming for a somewhat specific spot.
He'll just fly right through it, no problem.
Yeah. As for... We're not going to worry about damage, but,
Well, it is space.
Oh, I
glass.
rolled one too many purples, but I think I made it.
It doesn't matter. You make it even harder on yourself by trying to be cool, but it doesn't matter because you succeed at being cool. You, actually, I'll let you describe it. How do you break through this windshield?
It's like a straight down, like.
Yeah, like with your sword planted beneath you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do that. And Branks, you nearly have the living daylights scared out of you as Braytac falls through the front windshield of this Lambda shuttle and appears in the cockpit in front of you. Braytac, you see Branks and nobody else.
I mean, I would have said that Braytac is coming down, but I wouldn't have said
Okay,
anything
then,
else.
then maybe you don't have the living daylights scared out of you. Or maybe you do, I don't know.
Well, all we tell him is that he's coming down. We don't tell him how he's coming down.
Yeah, I just say Braytac's coming down, by
You know,
the way.
because we don't want to distract from the fact that in
There's
1998,
only
The
one
Undertaker
way
threw
to-
mankind off hell in
So
a
I
cell.
look at the front and I see that autopilot's on, right?
Autopilot's on.
Oh, big surprise! I get back in the ship.
The ship's not landed, Hayes.
I get back in the ship.
If autopilot's on, then there is no worry about this thing going critical or exploding. So yeah, I can get the ramp down right into that windshield pretty easily, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
This one
Yeah.
has the ramp out the front.
Branks is gonna actually check out the ship.
Hey, pull the ship's black boxes while you're out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Pete?
So, well, what you would be able to get from that is is sort of the flight plan data. You would know the exact path that it took to get here from the harrower. However, to retrieve that, I'm going to say we're going to make it difficulty. We're going to make it difficulty 3 computers. And then I'm going to make it a little harder than difficulty 3. So it'll be 2 purple, 1 red.
Can I give him skill assistance and explain how to pull a black box?
Yeah, and then I'm also going to add 1 black die just due to the general damage suffered by the ship. The black box is still intact, but...
Two ranks from me.
So we're looking at PPRK in terms of the negatives? All right. So I'm looking at GGG. What are you giving me?
Skilled assistance. I'm explaining how to pull a black box, so you get 2 ranks from me.
So 2 of my greens become 2 yellows?
Yep.
Hey, can we flip a light side?
Sure.
That'll convert the green into a yellow?
So you have 3 yellows then?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate.
He pulls the handle off the black box.
Circuits are fried.
Yeah, so you go to where the black box that's supposed to be able to withstand like almost anything is. You know, it's like sort of buried under the front console.
Braytac crushed it when he jumped through the window.
Yeah, it's been like almost sliced in half by some kind of vibro weapon. It appears to have been very recent.
Braytac.
He doesn't have a vibro weapon. He has a power sword.
A power
That's a
sword is a
vibro
vibro
weapon.
weapon.
I mean,
Oh,
why can't people wipe computers, the normal way?
All right. So
like
here's
this
a
guy.
question then, Pete.
Mhm.
This vessel had life signs. There are no bodies.
Correct. Well, you don't know if the vessel had life signs.
They didn't check, remember?
Yeah.
We asked.
I thought he said they checked.
No, he said they didn't.
No.
Buddy!
Other way around.
Fine.
Yeah, that unfortunately is not logged. They have to be like actively looking for it.
Can you just put Braytac in like a torpedo and shoot him at the black site?
So, Divided, you go back to the ship or to the black site?
Oh, let's go to the black site.
All right. Are you going to encrypt communications, talk to John Blort or whatever his name is up top?
I was getting to that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I call up to the Star Destroyer on the long range comm, and encrypted comms and all that.
Yep.
And inform him that there were no bodies on the ship. The autopilot was set. Unfortunately, the black boxes look to have been sabotaged.
Yeah, sabotage. That's what it was.
Mm. This is
So it's
becoming-
possible you
this is
still have a
becoming
saboteur.
more and more concerning.
It is. Be advised, you still have a possible saboteur up there.
You still want to go through with the investigation?
Absolutely. We're flying to the black site now.
To be clear, the saboteur was Braytac.
I know.
I didn't mean to make that ambiguous at all.
You didn't make it ambiguous. I'm purposely just mentioned. By the way, it just happened to be sabotage. I never said who did the sabotaging.
Hold on a second.
And if it was
Hold
set,
on
and
a
it was set
second,
with autopilot, so the guy could still be up there. I
Guys.
haven't said anything untrue.
Guys, I feel the need to point something out here. It's 'cause you know.
You mean Braytac was missing when everything was happening?
Indeed, it occurs to me that Hayes was not paying attention during all of the previous scenes where violence was happening, and then all of a sudden, the black box is sabotaged. The reason you didn't see anything move in front of the security cameras is because Braytac is so swole that it actually just looks like part of the background when he walks by.
See, Pete couldn't find an enemy to beat me, so he made me the enemy.
It's all coming together now.
Well, anyway, I think I heard you guys were heading to the black site.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, they are expecting you.
So, should we?
At this point, they were beginning to think you weren't coming. Yeah, but they would you could get on the horn with that same comms person directly if you wished to get yourself cleared for a landing.
Yeah, I informed them we finished our sweep. Good, looks like a good kill. We're coming into land.
Yep. So, as I said before, the place is sort of nestled into a mountainside. It's got the place is built a bit like a staircase. If you can follow my imagery here, they've got there are clearly like anti-air emplacements around it. Based on where the ship went down, you think they have some fairly impressive range. Not like a few miles. Not anything crazy, but they're clearly robust. Like this place is meant to be able to defend itself. The actual facility is it's all sort of one building that has different parts that form sort of a staircase going up this mountainside. And there's a landing pad like right in the middle of it all, where you would be able to sit down.
Wait. Before we set down.
God damn it, Hayes.
What?
You didn't say it,
No,
but
no,
so this
no, 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 bad.
So Hayes, this is your warning. There won't be another warning.
Warning for what?
You're for breaking one of the cardinal rules of D&D in the Star Wars in the server.
There are two things that we
Yeah.
don't do. One of them is what you did. The other one
We don't
has to...
say or post about the J word, and we don't say or post about the M word.
Right. We don't talk about people's blood types.
I was gonna say the JJ word, and then that made me like laugh out loud about the sequel trilogy.
Because we don't do that either.
Yeah. We don't say the JJ word or the other JJ word or the M word.
But before we set down, I would like to ask Nevin to open up our landing gear, and I'm going to fly outside and take a peek.
So you want to take a visual look around?
What, you think someone's hanging on to the landing gear?
Well,
Listen,
it's what I would have done.
There's two options.
Not a bad
the
idea.
person is still on the ship, or they bailed at some point before the ship got anywhere near.
Well, see,
Frank's
that's
idea is-
exactly why I'm checking Hayes.
Yeah,
because-
Frank's exactly doing what we're talking. Everybody's talking about the same damn thing. I will
Okay,
do
what
what Frank
exactly is
said.
he doing?
I'm opening the landing gear of the Lambda shuttle, so the landing gear's
Before we
extending out.
land.
Before we touch down, and Brinks is going to jetpack out and look at all the landing gear. Make sure there's nobody hanging on.
There is nobody on the underside of the shuttle.
the far more.
Right. There's no one on the other
likely-
side of the shuttle. What about the landing gear?
There is nobody clinging to the landing gear. There is not something on the wing.
There's a man out there on the wing, and it's not me.
The far more likely option is it's still on the ship.
Yes, but now we are fairly certain that they didn't come down with us, which really does limit them to the ship. That episode used to give me nightmares. I used to think the thing in the wing was scary.
For me, it was always the one where like the woman wakes up in the hospital and they have like pig faces.
That also was unsettling.
Yeah. But anyway, no, you do not find any hangers on.
All right, when we land, can what happen look like this?
Is there any place on the ship that a person could stow away?
Not
Why are
really.
we kicking the
it's-
body off the ship?
No. See. I'm sorry, sir. It's time for you to leave. So look, we have the dudes in T-shaped helmets with blasters, telling people to fuck off. So clearly, he's predicting that I'm going to kill him and then tell Devati to fuck off.
No, those are the security forces when we get to the base.
No, bad mister.
But in terms of places where somebody could hide, yeah, there really aren't that many. Like, a Lambda shuttle is not. It is technically a Silhouette Force ship, just like the Peaceful Intentions, but that's a broad enough category that there's still like a variety of size in there, and the Lambda shuttle is on the smaller side. It doesn't really have a cargo hold. The cargo is just like stuff you can shove under seats and in like little holds that are underneath floor panels that you have to lift up. It's not like
The
if
main
something were
reason
gonna
it's still
hide.
four is the big ass wings.
Yeah, well, the big ass wings, that and it's too big to be a fighter is the other thing. Like the silhouette categories are exponential.
Pretty broad.
Yeah, well, and they're broad and they only get broader going up. Like it can't be 3 because it's not a fighter. It's too big for that, and it can't be 5 because at 5 you're getting into like major cargo ship territory. So 4 is the only thing it can be.
So we don't have a stowaway inside or out, and we're landing the shuttle now.
Yeah,
Yep.
like
Mhm.
hiding somebody on this ship would be so hard that I'm not even going to make you roll for it.
Alrighty. I had to make sure we didn't have like a Django jumper like stuff themselves into a suitcase.
No.
Necrotites.
Open all the rations.
Open all the rations.
Make sure to check your kids' Halloween candy.
There could be
I seen
lightsabers
a
in
good
them.
one today. I seen a good one today. It was like a almond joy, and the 2 bits broken in half, and there's a piece of folded up paper, and then you unfold the paper, and it's been trying to reach you, but your car's extended warranty. That was my favorite I've seen so far.
I think I didn't see that, but I saw one where it's just like a graphic of like a Snickers being broken open, and inside it's telling you to purchase WinRAR.
That's fucking good. I had a copy at one point. I don't remember what happened to it.
Somebody probably stole it.
No, it's just changing computer to computer to computer. I just lost the key.
Yeah.
I was 14.
You were 14 and
How
you
did I need it?
Yeah, but anyway, I think once you're confident that there's nobody hiding on the ship, unless you're doing anything else, I think you would be able to set down at the black site.
Yep.
Yep. And as you sit down, you would there would be sort of a party that comes out to greet you. There's an accompaniment of stormtroopers. However, the person sort of leading the entourage, you might say, is a human woman in a white Imperial officer's uniform with a cape.
Oh.
And as she presumably meets you all on the landing pad, she would introduce herself. She says,
Except for me.
Except for you, because you don't go outside.
Gotta maintain this pale complexion somehow.
And let's see.
Braytek's gonna pace around like that.
Yep. What's the significance of the white cape?
It looks
High
cool.
rank.
You see, white uniforms tend to mean, if I recall correctly, that they're in less the military branches directly and more in like
Science.
the ISB or science branches. And
Well,
the
not
cape
even-
just means that they're absolutely ballin'.
Correct.
Ah, okay.
And she would say, "My name is Director Yevhen Kalis. I'm in charge of this facility. How can I help you?" "My name is Director Samuel Hayden. I'm in charge of this facility." Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, no, I respond that I am Devati, working with the Imperial Security Division. We're here to do an inspection of this facility.
I'm assuming that started with the shuttle you ordered us to shoot down. Would you care to explain that?
There are elements that we believe are targeting this facility in contravention of Imperial What would a politician say in this case?
Jurisdiction?
No.
Interests?
Interests, yes. In contravention of imperial interests. And we believe that and as such, we are here to inspect the facility. I present the code thing to verify my identity. And
Yes,
also, at that point, I also name drop Jirlan as I'm working under, ISD agent Jirlan under his direct authority.
Your credentials are acceptable. I would be happy to show you around the facility, though some aspects of our work I do have to keep concealed even from you in the interest of security. To be clear, you'll be free to look anywhere you wish to. It's merely the details of the research and development we conduct here that I'm not at liberty to share with you.
And as of this moment, that's perfectly acceptable. Depending on where this inspection leads, we may have to revisit that, but there's channels and the like for dealing with that, but at the beginning, that's perfectly acceptable.
Certainly.
This is my crew and team. They will be accompanying me during this inspection.
Great
That is also
pacing like that.
Have you, I assume at that point she's ushering us to go inside? It's probably fucking cold out here.
It is very cold. And she would say, yes, please, come inside.
Right. As we're walking in, under a guise of making, small talk, I'd be like, have you had any issues with security recently?
I was going to talk to you about that, actually. You see, here on Morian, we enjoy one very significant security measure, which I would like to know how you were able to bypass.
Oh, well, that's easy enough. A rebel spy told us how to find you.
Now that is concerning.
Hence my presence.
Please, tell me more about this rebel spy.
That is a need-to-know bit of information. And right now, I think it's best to do the inspection first, and then we can discuss such things.
Well, if you believe there is a security risk to my installation, then I would purport that I do in fact need to know.
You could be the leak.
You must understand that the reason that this is an external review is because the nature of the breach is so severe that one of the pieces of this inspection is yourself.
Then, in that case, allow me to be as forthcoming as I can be. Well, where would you like to start first?
Well, you said you were planning on giving us a tour. Why don't we just start with that? Whatever you had thought to prepare ahead of time, I'm sure we'll be fine. Our questions and lines of investigation will flow from there naturally.
Oh, certainly. I don't really get to give tours here, due to the nature of our work.
Then I'm sure the novelty will be an interesting experience for everyone involved.
Certainly. Our primary concern, which I can speak about, at least in the most general of terms, is what is called bionetic research. Are you familiar?
Only in the very
Would I be familiar?
Actually, yeah, maybe. So you would all know what cybernetics are. Bionetics are the same thing, except instead of using electronics and machinery, they use biological components.
Yeah, they grow parts and replace ones. Yeah.
Exactly. Think like artificial organs.
Mm-hmm.
Like this process is involved with gene seed? Fuck! They're making Astartes.
Yes, actually, that would be bionetics.
Yep.
That would be bionetics.
They're making Astartes. Oh fuck!
And I would tell her I'm aware of the definition of the word and the very broadest of terms, of what that would entail. I'm not myself a geneticist.
Oh, well. Anyway, that is our primary concern here. We have several laboratories where we develop various implants, augments, and such that we work on here. We have our own in-house team of scientists who've all agreed to participate in this project under the utmost secrecy.
Do we see like tanks with like this guy in them around?
No, you don't see that guy in any tanks. I mean, you do see tanks with things that look like organs that may be familiar to some of you and not others, depending on what species you are.
Ah, such as second hearts, third lungs, and black carapaces.
Yes, things. I don't know about the carapaces.
I mean, the carapace is starting to get into cybernetics.
No carapace.
They're growing parts for replacements.
The black carapace is a biological nerve network that's used to integrate with the power armor.
Oh, that.
Yeah, it's the little metal bits you see sticking out of their face and such.
Oh,
Well,
like
that's the plugs. The
yeah,
carapace
the
is
two
all
metal
organic.
dots on the forehead.
Well, yeah, I guess it considers where you cut off the boundary between them. Anyway, off topic.
Oh, the bolts in the forehead signify centuries of service.
Oh, that's what those are. Okay.
I can't
yeah.
believe I devoted brain space to that.
Anyway, so as far as what she would show you, there's the base has its whole military complement to defend itself. You would see stormtroopers moving around, and obviously they have anti-air defenses. There's also a hangar with numerous TIE fighters and a couple Lambda shuttles of their own. And there is also a larger cargo shuttle, which you think is for making and receiving deliveries, or rather she would tell you that. They do have to be resupplied every so often.
Of course. And I'm sure you take extreme security measures with the handling of those the pilots and the cargo, etc.
Oh, yes.
So it would be exceedingly difficult for, say, a man-sized sample to, be removed from your facility without your knowledge.
A man-sized sample. You speak as if you refer to something specific.
Perhaps.
Can neither confirm nor deny. I don't answer questions. Move along.
Yes, that would be an exceedingly difficult thing to have happen. Exceedingly unlikely.
Indeed.
And yes, she would continue showing you around. They've got, like various personnel facilities. She would, eventually during the tour, she would introduce you to the Black Mesa science team. Yeah. Some of them are humans. Many of them aren't. There's a couple. Like almost everybody at the facility, aside from these scientists, is all humans. Like this is the science team is by far the most diverse here. There's an Aqualish. There's actually a Chiss Tenorock. And yeah, really. Yeah, and some other species. There's the squid head people who I forget the names of. The Quarren. There we go.
Yeah, Quarren.
Yeah.
I was about to say Quarian. It's like, no, that's Mass Effect.
Yeah, almost. But yeah, so you meet the science team. They're all. You get the impression that they don't get many visitors. And they all just sort of stand there meekly.
I nod to them politely. Are these scientists acting? So here's the thing, like if you were to visit like a scientist who's like really like excited about this type of research, like this is their life's work type stuff, and they're really enjoying it, they really love it, they'd almost preen at seeing people walk around to examine their facilities.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. Some of them are clearly like the standoffish type. You think mostly because they don't get any visitors here. Like all they've seen for presumably a very long time is just like stormtroopers and other Imperial personnel. So there's some preening and there's some shyness as well.
Well, that's the meekness. That's what I'm asking, because usually if they're being meek about this, that implies that they are not here willingly. Is that the kind of vibe I'm getting from some of these guys? That some of them are here because they enjoy it and this is their fiefdom, and they're either preening or being standoffish because I'm treading on their turf, or are they being meek because, you know, they're here against their will and they're afraid I'm here to shoot them?
Difficulty 3 vigilance from whoever wants to roll it.
Well, I guess I'm going to do it then.
Yeah, I don't have any vigilance.
I mean, there was sort of an invitation to Brinks, but if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have to.
Diff 3?
What?
That's difficulty 3 vigilance to determine the...
Bonnie leans over and says, "Do these guys look happy?"
Well, I don't know.
You can't tell if they're just shy or if there's like something more sinister going on here.
Right.
Oh shit! Yeah, if you guys wanted me to do that, be more clear.
I say my.
We're
full
walking
name
on a tour with...
Chiss-
Oh,
Chislin.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I was saying to Brinks, we're walking on a tour with their leader. I can't be explicit about this because she's right fucking there. So if you didn't pick up on it, oh well.
Yeah, I mean, I did say this is kind of an invitation to Brinks, but then he rolled. But anyway,
Yeah.
Tenrock, yeah, Tenrock, you specifically can tell that the Chiss scientist is very proud of the work he's doing here. Like of all the people sort of preening and relishing in the attention, this guy is like out at the forefront.
Braytech wants to start the interrogations.
Braytag wants to start the interrogation.
All right, well, who do you want to interrogate?
Whoever's in charge of security.
How about we finish the tour first, and then we start interrogating people?
I mean, you sort of are done with the tour at this point. You would have
okay.
seen the you've seen the areas where they do their work. You haven't seen absolutely every inch of the facility, but she appears to have shown you everything she thinks is important.
Do they show us any not cryogenics, any carbonite freezing chambers?
They don't show you anything like that. I mean, you would have seen like organs and tanks, and they would have pointed out at one point that they have a not carbonite frozen, but just regular frozen. They have like a freezer where they keep like organ samples and that kind of thing.
Well, that'll certainly be something to ask about then. Carbonite.
You would know that it would also have actually, let me think about this. No, actually, you wouldn't necessarily know that. Never mind.
Wouldn't necessarily know what.
Don't worry about it.
You know nothing.
Okay. Random question. What kind of power plant do they have?
The power plant, actually, if you were to ask about that, she would answer that the location of the facility was chosen because it actually lies upon there's like a geothermal hotspot under this location, and the whole thing is powered geothermally. There's like a big mast that goes down into the ground to pick up thermal energy from within the Earth.
Alrighty. I will just keep a mental note of that in case I need to cause a power outage.
Ask them where they get the samples.
Samples?
The organ samples.
Why, we
They
grow them
grow
right
the
here.
organs
These are
correct.
everything you see in these jars here is artificially made in our laboratories.
So you have no live subjects?
Live subjects? No. I wish we were at that stage of development.
Have you, so are you following the same paths as Camino? Are you into the cloning or just the organs and limb regenerations?
So I think we talked about this. Well, your characters would you would know that clones exist, especially if you've been around since the Clone Wars, or if you just have any awareness of history. I don't know if
Or
you
you're
would,
a doctor?
yeah, but I don't know if you would know about Camino though. As for
Being a source of the clones was a pretty close guarded piece of information.
that was a close guarded piece of information. You do know that they are clones and they were created by cloning. You would also know that the Emperor outlawed cloning when they transitioned to a civilian military.
Okay, then I'll
Yeah.
rephrase my question then. I'm gonna say, so how do I want to put it?
If you were to ask your initial question, her response to that would be something like, "Oh, of course not. That would be horribly unethical."
So the loss of the Emperor hasn't made you rethink your ethics policies, has it?
It is still imperial policy that we must not engage in cloning. And even if we wanted to, we wouldn't have access to that kind of technology.
So what do you use as your initial seed to grow these organs?
We use DNA samples from stock humans.
So you have a repository of DNA here on site.
I don't know if you would call it a repository, but yes, we do have a bank of stem cells donated from among various sources, all legitimate, of all volunteers.
Wounded troopers.
Are the volunteers here, or do you just bring in the samples on the
Oh,
resupply
no,
ships?
we only receive samples.
Okay, out of character. I'm already believing this lady is lying because we know that a full body,
We need to
You do know that.
and I mean, and they said they're there. And the way she said about the whole moral thing of the imperial, the way she said that seemed kind of off.
It's time to get in a private room for more
No,
private
there's one
conversation.
question first. Now, I turned to the runner and said, could we see this vault?
Well, just the vault where we keep the.
The stem cells that you're talking about.
Yes, of course you can see it, although it would be terribly dull.
Well, lead on then.
Anyway, if you wish to see it, she would. It's sort of back in among the labs. She would have to let you through like a couple secure doors to get at it. But yeah, eventually there was just a big walk-in freezer filled with like lots and lots of jars with long and complicated looking labels on them. It's even colder in here than it was outside.
Question, Pete. The helmet comm that Brinks has is secure from the outside, right? Like, if I speak using it, people aren't going to hear me.
Did you set that up?
Yeah,
Mhm.
he's established that pretty frequently that he's using
Yeah,
that as
well,
a-
so I think the way you would be doing that is you would be using that comm jammer that you have on your long-range communicator, and people would be communicating with you through that. Is that what you're doing?
Hold
Or
on,
your
I got-
comms
I got-
squad.
Well, it would
I
be
got a
more
lot of
like
background, 1
it would be more like he turns off the external speakers on his helmet, so when he speaks, the sound doesn't leave the helmet, and that way he can talk over comms without people outside next to him hearing what he's saying physically.
I don't think the helmet has external speakers. I think he just talks normally.
Isn't it void?
He's in a sealed suit.
Yeah, isn't it void capable?
Yeah, I am in a void-capable suit. Like, I am going to need some kind of mechanism that lets me speak through that.
You are in a void-capable suit, but are you walking around with it sealed?
He's a Mandalorian, of course.
Would unsealing it actually affect the speaker system? It just means that I need to open up the air supply, not, open up all the comm systems.
Yeah, actually, I suppose if that's... Yeah, then in that case, you would presumably need to have a speaker to go to the outside.
Alrighty. Brinks is then going to not use that speaker and just communicate into each person's earpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
I'm suspecting that Rebel Spy has these bio-augments. It would explain why she was able to recall an entire list of hyperspace coordinates from memory, but nothing appeared on the medical check.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't detect it because they weren't looking for it.
So you grow all these parts. Do you put them into what's the word?
Subjects?
Yeah, subjects.
Answer
Yeah.
that.
You implant that into subjects. Oh, you already answered that?
There has been limited testing of this technology on live human volunteers. However, we don't conduct anything like that here.
So it's sent to another site?
Well, we don't conduct anything like that at this time. It's been done in the past, though I wasn't associated with that work.
Was it done here?
No.
Vigilance.
All right. Difficulty PPR.
Two blue.
Hey, Under, can you flip a light?
Click.
Hold on, I gotta get it.
Hey.
Hey. Alrighty, here we go. Yellow, yellow, green, blue, blue, PPR.
That so
No
sounds
fuck me dice.
Yeah, this woman is definitely lying.
Alright, can we fucking interrogate her now?
Yeah, and I'm gonna turn like, okay, I think we've seen stuff. We should perhaps go to your office where we can talk more comfortably.
Of course. And yeah, she would lead you to her office.
Okay. And are we alone in the office with her?
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna pull out the data pad,
Mm.
and it has a like that file we had from Kel Zora, right, with a mugshot. I'm guessing.
Which file are you talking about?
Well, we have a picture of the spy. Yes, Kel Zora.
Yes.
Okay. I pull up a picture of the spy, the face primarily. I lay down. I ask her, "Tell me what you know about this person. She used to work here."
I've never seen this person.
Vigilance.
All right. Just difficulty 3 this time.
Can I just keep adding the 2 boosts from Aiden being nearby?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
3 Ps.
3 Ps.
Should we flip a light or just roll with this?
Flip a light.
Ooh.
Failure, but 5 advantage.
Failure, but 5 advantage. So, I'm gonna say, yeah, you're not sure if she's lying or not. With 5 advantages, though,
does it get me a better read to her in general?
Yeah, maybe. I'm thinking of what kind of peripheral information to this I want to give you.
Was she surprised when I showed her the picture?
That would... I mean,
That would require the vigilance?
Whether she was surprised
Okay.
when you showed her the picture would sort of tell you if she was lying or not. So that you're not able to tell.
That would have been in that vigilance roll.
Yeah, well, that would have been the giveaway. Yeah, so that is inconclusive. However, you can definitely sense her becoming cagier, I'll say.
Okay.
Like, you think she doesn't like this line of inquiry.
I imagine not, but that's okay. I'm going to continue on with it. I'm going to say, well, it's interesting because she used to work here. Worked here for quite some time. Until she illegally smuggled out a man in carbonite, a set of genetic information, and we also believe that she has in fact been augmented with your bionetic prototypes. Does that change your answer at all?
That is quite something. So you say she smuggled out a person in carbonite along with, what, some stolen DNA from our research?
And currently we have evidence that she has had this bionetic, at least one bionetic prototype implanted in her. She showed capabilities far beyond human baseline and no cybernetics on scan. So if you're doing testing, if this was a subject that escaped, that's one thing. But if you're cooperating with her, that's an entirely different thing.
Well, I can assure you I haven't been cooperating with anybody who would do something like this.
Vigilance!
Now, that being said, before you roll, I'm going to have her say a couple other things.
Oh, of course, of course.
Does she have like a file cabinet or in there?
Now, that being said, yes, I did lie to you several times. This gets into the nature of the aspects of my work which I'm not at liberty to discuss, though it seems that you have more information than I anticipated.
Indeed. I did have more information than you anticipated, which is why I asked several pointed questions on the tour, and you lied and deflected as was expected. But this is a matter of some urgency and some security, and so now I need the truth.
Then yes, we do work on live subjects here. And we have made great strides in the application of this new technology and produced what I might call exceptional results.
Can you define exceptional results?
No.
You can't or you won't?
Yes.
I
Perhaps we
see.
should let Bert talk to her.
Anyway, now you can roll vigilance. Same difficulty.
Flip a green. Flip a light.
Yeah. You think the, what she just said was definitely true, but there's also a lot that she's not telling you, in case that wasn't already obvious.
Yes, it's I think plainly obvious. And I'm gonna sigh, and I'm gonna like, we know you've been doing the subject testing, obviously. You know, we came already with that information. Yes, we know you've been successful. at least to some degree. Have you lost track of any subjects? If so, how many? Do you have pictures of them? These are information we can pass up without exposing your research, but will allow us to corral these escapees.
We have not lost track of any of our subjects. And moreover, we don't use carbonite freezing in any part of our process, even for preserving research specimens. It would damage them too much.
Do you have the facilities to do carbonite freezing at all in the station?
Yes, we do.
Let me be clear. I was on a ship. There was a carbonized man. A human, male. In the computer banks on this carbonized block, there was genetic code that we've traced to this facility. The carbonite man was destroyed when the ship was. The data, however, is the clue we've been following to get this far, to find your facility, to unravel your research. So if not a subject, was this a scientist that you lost? A worker, a security officer, your second in command, your predecessor? Shit happens, we know, but there's a possibility that your research might be used against the Empire, and so we need to determine how deep this goes, how widespread this leak has become.
We have lost nothing. I can only guess at where this carbonite frozen man may have come from.
Braytek's getting angry.
All of our scientists and personnel are accounted for. We have lost none of our research specimens.
Braytek's getting very angry.
I look at Brenks.
Vigilance.
All right, same difficulty.
I believe the negotiations were quick.
Flip a light.
I think it's time to let Braytek and Brinks take over the investigation.
Why?
He seems to be cooperating. There's no point to get hostile
Plausible
yet.
deniability.
That's not
We
what
can leave the
plausible
room and let
deniability means. No.
We can leave the room and let y'all interrogate. We won't know what happened because we left y'all in charge.
Yeah, see, that's not how that works.
We're already a deniable asset, mister.
Yeah, anyway, you can... let's see. Again, you don't think she's lying about this. But there is also more.
You know the picture, the woman in the picture, don't you? I asked that question to the lady.
Again, I have never seen that woman in my life.
Have you seen all of the subjects that you've been testing on?
All of the subjects? No.
Do you keep records of them?
Of the subjects? Yes, of course.
Can you run that picture through your databanks and see if it matches any of your personnel files, whether they're subjects, scientists, workers, what have you? Anybody that you have on record in this facility.
Certainly, that seems more than agreeable.
And
I'll forward this to my head of security. He should be back to us soon.
should we also...
Do you trust your head of security?
I have to.
No, you don't.
We're in charge of security now.
No, we're not.
If I can't trust my head of security, then I can't trust anyone.
Hence why why they're there.
Hence why I asked if you could run this. Right now, you've been cooperating to a very good degree. And so I'm willing to extend to you some trust, but I have not talked to your head of security. If he's involved in some operations out of your purview, he would be the person well placed to do so.
If you'd like to stand over his shoulder while he runs this image, you're more than welcome to.
I think we should all be there. Director. You, me, my team, and the head of security while this picture is being run.
Very well then. And then she has her own earpiece on, and she says a few things implying that she's going to be bringing some people over to the security station.
Mhm.
This way, please.
Of course.
And so you walk through more hallways, and yeah, eventually you come to a sort of well, it's a security station, but most of it is like just an office. You know, a lot of terminals, things like that. This is sort of like the place where the whole security apparatus of the facility is run out of.
Okay, so it's like their command center.
Yes, the security command center.
Okay.
Tavati, could you please provide him with the image in question?
Does she do introductions?
Oh yeah, she would introduce him as head of security, make a name, and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and I provide him the picture. If you could please match this against any personnel that are on the facility or have ever been on the facility, that would be appreciated.
Yep, I'll run it through my database real quick. And then you see it do like the movie thing where it's flashing through all the different faces and giving like a percentile or something. And it's super low the whole way through.
Should we also do a scan on the DNA code?
I haven't mentioned that yet, and I'm not going to right now.
Oh, I thought you did mention it.
I mentioned we had a DNA sample. A bit of DNA. I didn't mention. I didn't provide it, and I didn't give specifics.
Oh.
Yeah, he mentioned the knowledge of the genetic code. He didn't say he has it on his datapad.
No. Well, I believe the results speak for themselves. If this person did infiltrate this facility, they must have done it by assuming the identity of someone else, someone who didn't look like them.
Director, I'm going to ask you a very specific question about some of the research you do here. Is your head of security cleared to know?
Ask your question.
Are any of the biomedic research implants that you're working on capable of changing the shape of somebody?
No. We don't specialize in that kind of research here.
Now you understand I had to ask. Go ahead.
You know what I'm doing.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
It's my mantra on Saturday, and it's my mantra on Monday.
And I'm going to upgrade it once. PPR. Yeah, you think she's telling the truth.
I turn to the head of security with that, and I say, from here, are you able to query the databanks of the scientists?
For what purpose?
If I was to give you a DNA code, would you be able to match it against any of the research being done here?
Yes. Do you have it with you?
Yes. And I provide him the DNA code to run against the database.
That would not be in our security database. For that, we would have to go to the research database.
Let's go.
Yep. And you walk through more hallways, and eventually you would meet back up with the science team, Trademark. And yeah, you get sort of the same reaction as you did before. Eventually you go over to one of several terminals where you would be invited to plug your datapad into it to transfer this code that you apparently just have on your person.
Yeah, I've kept it on this database. I've kept on this datapad the whole time.
Yeah, no, I mean this is from her perspective. This is like, oh, you just have it. Okay, that's concerning.
Yes, it should be.
Yeah.
You thought you had a breach? Ha!
Actually,
we have a breach.
I didn't say it when you brought it up, but you could very clearly watch her have kind of an oh shit moment when she realizes that you just have it with you.
Yes, I have just been walking around with your secured research that you've been very adamant you haven't lost.
Yeah, and she runs it through the database, and it does get a match to, let's see, what exactly would it be called?
Spartan 117.
No, it does not match to Project Orion. No,
Hey, that's the first Spartan project.
this is the first Spartan project. No, this would be a match to
Hitman 47.
no, I think there would be a number in here somewhere. Yeah, it would match to a sample that the computer identifies as Fidelis iteration 15.
Fidelis 15.
Yes, that is what the sample is called.
It's called, if I'm recalling my Latin, it's called Loyal 15.
It is called Loyal 15.
And where's the subject that it came from, supposedly?
That it doesn't say. It just matches this sample that they have in their computer.
And it's saying it's in. All right, and I tell him, okay, pull up that project.
That I'm not at liberty to share with you.
I turn to her and in a very low voice I say, that genetic code was taken from this facility by a rebel spy and found its way into my hands. And you should be thankful for that, because if it found its way to the rebellion, you would not be here currently. Now I need to know what this does, because if a copy got to me, it means it could be out in the wild, and we need to know what we're going to be finding out there. If it has something to do with, say, memory, I need to know what this is.
It kind of sounds like you're trying to intimidate her.
Yes, I am being somewhat intimidating about this, but at the same time, I'm not threatening her. I'm very much implying that, if it got into my hands, it could be everywhere by now. The time for keeping it close to your chest has long since passed, and I don't want to declare you a traitor in front of your entire team.
Yeah, see, this still sounds coercive to me.
Okay.
I don't know. It sounds like he's more trying to appeal to her sense of.
No, I didn't appeal to anything.
Before you roll Devati, there is skilled assistance.
There is skilled assistance. Could I get some skilled assistance from, say, the Mandalorian hovering over my shoulder?
Yes.
And I believe he has something that helps with.
Intimidating. Removes 2 ranks if I take 2 strain to loom extra hard.
It removes 2 what now?
Oh, hold on. Intimidating. May suffer a number of strain up to ranks in intimidating to downgrade difficulty of coercion checks or upgrade difficulty when targeted by coercion checks by an equal number.
Ah.
So I can remove, 2 ranks of difficulty.
It says downgrade, not decrease.
Oh yeah, it says downgrade.
Let me double check.
Downgrade is important.
Because that would change a purple to a black.
No, it would change a red to a purple.
And then takes a purple off, if I recall.
Yeah, it is a downgrade.
Yes. So let's see.
Okay.
We're going.
I'm definitely going to use a light side point on this.
Yeah. Anyway, this will end up being difficulty 2 with Branks' 2 downgrades. So
okay, and he's offering skilled assistance as well.
And he's offering skilled assistance.
So how does that work again?
So how many ranks does Branks have in coercion?
I have 2 ranks.
Okay.
I have none.
So you have 2 ranks now.
Okay. So, all right.
Yeah, you'd have 2 upgrades. That's essentially what
Yeah,
it does. It
and did-
transfers his
And
skills.
Aiden, did you said I get blue dice from you?
Light side.
I did.
I would say you'd have to have somebody else giving you skilled, but you have, Braytech there as well.
Right, but Aiden,
So
did you say that I benefit from your aura or something for a coercion check?
I don't think
that's already happened.
I don't,
that
I don't think
downgraded
that applies
the,
to this.
No?
The
I didn't know what the skills are for Aiden's check.
I don't
That's
believe it's
vigilance
coercion.
perception.
Okay. So this is just purple then?
Just purple, because breaks also decreased the difficulty.
Okay.
Come on, dice. Yeah.
All right, but I'm going to need authorization from Jirlan as well.
Pretty sure we can get that.
I open up comms on my long-range communicator and basically hold out the phone to her, and I'm like, he's on the other end of this.
And it's encrypted.
Yep, this is your direct line to Jirlan.
My direct line to Jirlan's ship in orbit. He might not be at the comm station right now. He is dealing with an entire Star Destroyer up there. But you can reach him here, and I know it's secure.
Yeah, on the other line of that comm, you would here I gotta come up with a Star Wars name real quick.
Foreman Co.
You know what? I like that. Yeah. This is First Officer Foreman Co. Devati, are you there?
Oh, sorry, I thought it was the director talking. And I say, yes, I have Director Yvonne here to speak to Jirlan. We're requesting special authorization.
Yes, indeed. And then she's going to say, activate Fidelis Override Protocol, acknowledge.
Is she saying that to me over the comm, or?
No, she says that into the comm. And then, and then Foreman Co. on the other end is going to say, I acknowledge. What are your orders, ma'am?
I cut comms. And then I shoot her.
All right. And I think given that it's currently 12:30, this is a perfect place to call it.
Ah, yes. The director attempts to execute Order 66, and now we will counter-execute Order 66.
Wait. Why was she talking to him, though? He would have been holding the comm to...
Oh, it was a party line. It was a party line. I was my comm. I insisted she use my comm to call the ship. She was talking to the first officer, the officer of the watch on the ship. She issued a special order. It's basically pre-programmed orders in their mind that she activated.
Yeah, I got all that, but wouldn't you have asked for Jelani first before you gave it to her?
I did, yeah. That's what I did. I said, I'm here to...
a direct line to the ship.
Yeah. And because I had her on that line, because I was trying to get the special authorization, either she was going to reveal herself or she was going to show herself to be on our side. She decided to reveal herself as an imposter, so I'm going to shoot her. The reason I insisted on it being my comm is so that I could do exactly what I did, which is simply turn off the comm to force her to not have contact with the ship directly. This is a memetic hazard down here. That's how we have to treat this.
Anyway, you get 20 XP for all of that.
Cool.